No. All right. Good evening, everyone. Live from Texas, Iowa, South Carolina, Kentucky, and New York State. Uh, we're it's our season 3 premiere of Horror Hangouts. It's hard to believe it's now. I'm starting my third season now. I should say we are because I wouldn't have a show if it wasn't for my guests because nobody wants to listen to me talk by myself for 2 hours. I assure you that. But anyhow, I want to apologize to those who were looking forward to watching this last week, but due to the winter storms, my internet got knocked out and therefore was not going to be able to live stream. So we had to postpone till tonight. So good evening, everyone. I'll go ahead and introduce our panel here. To my right or left, depending on which way you're looking, we have Molly Oblivion. How are you doing tonight, Molly?
I'm doing pretty good. Glad that it's not -7 outside anymore. So yeah, I'm happy.
And currently coming from us from the North Pole, it looks like, but actually he's in South Carolina. We have Yanni Hamburger. I guess it's really snowing there in good old South Carolina.
And it's a wonderfully balmy 17 degrees outside. Wind chill like at 4 right now. And when did we
Wow.
start? When did we start naming winter storms? Like last week was Fern.
Oh, was it? I didn't know
Yeah.
we
Wait,
started
what?
doing that.
You got me?
Winter storm Fern was last week.
I didn't know that we named winter storms. I thought we only did that for hurricanes.
And this week, what we have right now, what we call the snow cane going on outside, is Winter Storm Gianna.
Fancy.
Well, I like that name. Gianna is a beautiful name.
It is.
I don't know if the
It's my
storm's going to be
niece.
very beautiful, but Gianna is kind of a nice name there. I'll have to name a character in an upcoming story Gianna, I think. No, I know what it is.
My
There's a
niece's
porn
name.
star named Gianna I'm familiar with. I think that's what it is.
Well,
Sammy, did you say that's your niece's name? Nice.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
so. And speaking of Sammy, who returning, of course, everyone probably remembers her from last year. We have Sammy from the In Jerry's Closet on Instagram, the collector of rare horror
Western New York.
antiquities, it seems like. How are you doing, Sammy, in upstate New York?
Yeah. Western New York right now is very snowy and very cold. It's 10 degrees and there's about 2 feet of snow outside my place right now. So
Well, that's about average for this time of year,
Cold.
though, for
yeah, no. Where
Western
I
New
was
York.
living before was so much more snow. So this is actually really nice. 2 feet's not bad. I'm used to
Oh,
like
okay.
5 or 6.
God. Where was that? North Pole? Oh,
Nope, South Wales, New York. Yeah.
okay. If that's how South Wales is, I'd hate to see what North Wales was like. And then also returning to, we have Kyle, the horror bull rider. Kyle, how's it going?
It's going great. Thanks for having me back. I appreciate it.
Couldn't quite hear you there.
Oh, can you hear me now? Can you guys hear
You're a
me?
little fuzzy.
How about now? Can you guys hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah,
It was
super
not
good.
muted, but I muted and then unmuted, and so hopefully that's okay. So, yeah, no, I just said thank you for having me back. I'm excited to be on the first episode of season 3. So, yeah.
All right. Excellent. Well, anyhow, our main topic is going to be tonight is looking back at the wonderful year that was 2025. We had I think overall a pretty good, solid year for horror. Based on the movies I watched, I didn't really watch anything that I absolutely hated or disliked. Nothing really hit the 10 scale, but there were quite a few 7s, 8s, and a few 9s for me. So what we're going to do tonight, we're each going to go around and we each picked our top 5 favorite horror movies of the year, and we're just going to go around in circles here and do one at a time. So we'll start with you, Kyle. What was one on your list from last year?
I'll just start at number 5 if that's cool. Do we want to work our way down 5 to 1?
Yeah, we can do it that way.
Yeah.
Okay. So my number 5 was Weapons. I actually just watched it over Christmas break, and I was late coming to that one. Was a pretty big fan of Barbarian a year or two ago when that came out, 23, 24. And yeah, I had really no clue going into it what it was about. I tried to avoid spoilers, but I think I was going through it was somebody's like year-end list, and I came across a picture of the witch.
Mm-hmm.
What is her name? Not Nelda.
Amy Madigan.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. And so I knew that character was in the movie, but I had no idea who she was or what type of role she played, how pivotal. But I knew this to expect this person in it, and she did a great job. Again, it's very was reminiscent of Barbarian in certain ways as far as the humor,
Mm-hmm.
the twists, things you just don't see happening. Just very bleak and dark, yet funny. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. And I look forward to seeing what he does. Weirdly enough, that director is doing a Resident Evil movie next, which is
Yeah.
bizarre. I don't even think he's a fan of it or has ever played it or seen it. But hey,
That's
I will follow.
encouraging.
Do what?
I just said that's encouraging.
Yeah. So maybe that's even better if he goes in blind. But I'll pretty much follow him, and I'm not a Resident Evil person anyway, so I don't bring any baggage to it. But I'll watch the guy do anything at this point after kind of hitting it out of the park with these last two. So yeah. So like I said, that's my number 5.
Okay. Did anyone else have Weapons on their top 5? Okay. Yanni.
I thought that was going to be the one everybody would have. I didn't
I
see
haven't
it, but I
seen
also
it.
didn't pick it because I
Okay.
thought
I
everybody would talk about it.
I unfortunately have not seen it. I also haven't seen Barbarian.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I
You're-
really need to.
You're in for a crazy ride on that one. But
Yeah,
Yanni, where
it's-
did you have Weapons listed on your top 5?
Number 1.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
Wow.
I'll tell you what,
Love
we
that
will wait till we get to the number 1 then, and because I have it too. I have it at number 2. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
probably
cool.
hold off on some of my thoughts on that one.
Cool.
So yeah, that was one I was kind of thinking that a few people might have. So okay, so I guess we'll talk about it when we get up to number 2 for me and number 1 for you. So that didn't sound good. On a couple of
Well, guys,
Sounds like a fun party here.
Yeah, at least it wasn't number 3 for any of us.
I know. Wait, I know how to throw a party.
Wait,
that's
what's
for
number 3? You
Yeah,
know what?
what's
Never
number
mind.
if you're going up above 2,
I'll tell you
I
later.
just- I'm out. I'm gonna turn this off.
Well, Sammy, let's hear your number 5.
All right, so my number 5 was 28 Years Later.
Okay.
So I had just watched the original recently, so I kind of had that like fresh in my mind when I saw this one, and I think it was really neat how like it's like this territory that still has these infected on it, even though it's been so many years. They haven't been able to figure out a way, to totally eradicate them or even want to eradicate them. I don't know. Maybe they like that they have this island that like everything is on, but I don't know. I think they did a really good job with it.
That's what I haven't. You know what? I'm gonna be honest. I haven't even seen 28 Days, and I swear to Zeus, I do not recall that movie coming out when it did. And within the last year, I kept on hearing about 28 days, because they're gonna have 28 years later. I'm like, what? Where was I? Did I fall asleep for a month or something back in 2005? It's possible. It's possible. That's before I got married and got settled down. So that could have been the reason why I'd never even heard of it. So I haven't seen any of those movies yet. Did
Oh
anyone
my
else?
God. Josh, you've got to see 28 Days Later. I
Yeah,
can't
and-
speak for the sequels. I haven't seen 28 Years. I haven't seen 28 Weeks. To me, it was a perfectly self-contained film. I didn't think it needed a sequel, so I
don't think it did either.
I never had any desire to see the continuations. But I have heard such great things about 28 Years. But holy crap, 28 Days Later, one of my absolute desert island favorite horror movies ever made.
The only thing I know
The
about
comics
28
were
Days-
really good too.
Oh, were there comics? I didn't even know that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Well,
It
shit.
was. I'm
okay.
trying to think of what label put them out, but they were really good, and they were kind of a self-contained, like, separate story too.
Excellent.
Well, I'm
Okay.
gonna have to
It might be something down the road. Maybe I'll get. Sometimes with zombie movies, I have to be in the right mood to watch one. Like there's certain ones like Night of the Living Dead, Return of the Living Dead. I can watch those anytime. Or some of
Right.
Fulci's zombies movies I can watch anytime. But some of the others, I just have to be right in that right mood to watch them. But who knows?
By the way,
I have a
it
problem.
was Boom. It was Boom Studios that put out the comics.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to absolutely
Yeah.
check those out. Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hear there's like
There's a
some
great
big.
female lead that's in the comics.
Okay,
Hmm.
cool. Well, good. I'm glad that one because I know I've like heard that with 28. I don't know about the newest one. I've heard some people say that the newest one that just came out is actually better than this last one, but I don't know. I don't think, and not that box office means anything anymore because if people don't go to the theater to see it, they're just going to watch it a month later on streaming. But
Mhm. I've heard the same thing, and I think from the previews I've seen with the newest one, the second part that came out, and what it has to deal with from that movie that came out, I think it probably is a better movie.
okay. Well, that's good then, because oftentimes, like the third movie of a trilogy, normally is a big step down from the first two. That kind of happens a little bit with these movies, but that's good. That's
Yeah. Everybody I've talked to that's seen Bone Temple so far is it might be the best movie in the entire franchise.
That's what I
Okay.
keep hearing.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah.
Mhm.
The third one that we're talking about, the just 28 years later. I don't necessarily think it's better than the original 28 Days Later, but I do think it's more rewatchable. It's not quite as bleak and heavy as the original. So if you're just wanting to kind of pop in a fun one, I mean, it's been years since I've seen 28 Days Later, but it's just not an easy one to come back to, at least for me. It's pretty bleak. But this one and that one was also kind of like very digital, early digital. Like felt like it was shot on an early cell phone, which I think was effective. But this one is more just cinematic as well.
Okay.
And I have that as number 2, and we can come back to it. But I have 28 Years Later is number 2 for me. So, or at least,
Okay.
like, I have it on my list later. So.
Okay.
And it's number 3 for you, Yanni?
See, that's one I wasn't thinking that would be on multiple lists. The other one is, let's just say it's one that got nominated for like 5,000 awards or something like that.
You rhyme with winners.
Well, that's coming.
Yeah.
I bet, and that one is on my top 5.
Same here.
Mhm.
I have my very controversial opinions about the Academy Awards. I would just say that they're basically the cool kids table at the high school cafeteria, and ever so often they invite one of us horror people to their table for one day, and I'm supposed to get excited about it.
Well,
No.
yeah, exactly. That's the thing. That is the thing that upsets me is that everybody acts like, oh, we're finally here. We've finally reached a point where the Academy is going to take horror seriously. And it's like, dude, no, we never have. We never will. We've been here before. They're just throwing us a bone. And,
Yeah.
it's going to be another 10, 15 years before we get another, anyway.
Right.
Josh,
No,
you know how much I hate the Oscars too. So.
I will say this though, we do clean up in the theater nerd categories.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
special effects, that sort of thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are like the leftover like sloppy joes from cafeteria land that we get.
The stuff that
Um,
they do like 3 hours before the show. It's like, hi, theater kids.
Not to get off subject, and I promise we'll move on, but way I look at it, where was the Academy Awards when Dario Argento made Suspiria? Where
God,
were they
yeah.
when Carpenter made The Halloween? Oh, that's right. Every single critic also shit on The Thing when Carpenter released that. So where were they when Clive Barker released Hellraiser or George Romero Night of the Living Dead? I say, fuck you, Oscars.
This is why
I
we
don't
watch
want-
the Chainsaw Award, Joel, not the Oscars.
Exactly. Those. Yep, that's my awards right there. Chainsaw Awards or death. I don't care about any other award ceremonies.
Yeah, there's nothing less cool than the Oscars, and I think most horror films are cooler than that. So not only do I not care if the Academy Awards nominates a horror film, and I don't want a horror film to be nominated just because if it has to stand up against the other non-horror films that are out there, right? And if it does, excellent. But if it doesn't, it's its own thing anyway. And so I don't care if the Academy Award nominates horror films or not. And I think in most cases it doesn't matter. I don't care. And in most cases too, I think horror films are cooler for it. That some of the best films ever were never nominated for Academy Awards. And if they were nominated, they didn't win, right? Like there's so many films that have won or been nominated that we don't even remember. And some of our coolest, some of the best films that are, universally loved and, passed down through generations, they won Academy Award films.
Part of the genre's identity is rooted in it being on the fringe.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
I mean, it's really important that horror kind of remains the black sheep of Hollywood, because I think that really kind of fuels the genre. And I don't know, I just would hate to see a world where horror is taken as seriously by the Academy as some of the other genres out there, because I think horror benefits from kind of being the odd man out.
Well, I think we can also tell our stories a little bit better too. I mean, think about it. You can even go back to 67, I think, when the original Night of the Living Dead came out, 67, 69.
Yeah,
Could you imagine the shitstorm if Dwayne Jones would have won Best Actor?
Yeah.
Was that? I'm wondering if that was after, because the only other one would have been Sidney Poitier for
I think Sidney
in
had
the
already
heat of the night. I think. I mean,
Guess
it's
who's
not
coming to
horror.
dinner?
It could have been that one too, where a black man finally wins an Oscar. But yeah, I like it. But let's put it this way: was Metallica better before the Black Album or after the Black Album?
It was shit before. It was shit after Cliff Burton died.
Well, yeah, you could go back. My point being is, I don't want horror necessarily. Look, I'll be happy if they win. I'll be happy because making movies is a difficult thing to do. I would have been happy if Demi Moore had won last year and all that. But we don't. The horror genre doesn't need the Academy Awards adulations. Nor do we really want it.
Yeah, I just have a very bad feeling that the movie in question, because it's probably very high on everybody's list, is going to win only because they're trying to send a double bird statement to Trump.
Well, I don't think though. I really don't know that's. I mean, I definitely understand the concern because it's a very timely. Anyway, I know we're not there to the movie yet, but it is a very timely film, and it would be a huge double burn on Trump for it to win. But I also do think it's an Oscar-worthy movie, in terms of by their definition of what makes an Oscar-worthy movie. So I don't know. I think it's a win-win. But
these are also big studio films too,
right?
Yeah,
you're not going to see a movie, for example. A couple of movies I'll be listing on my top 5. They're indie films are not ever going to be recognized by the Oscars. It's major studio films. Not that there's anything wrong with those, but let's be honest. A24 can't even get a horror movie nominated let alone, and they're not big studio, but they're pretty well known too.
Yeah.
But anyhow, back to our subject of best top five. Yanni, what was your number 5?
Bring Her Back.
Okay.
And I legitimately thought I thought that was going to be one of the ones that a lot of us were going to have on our list, but I got a feeling there's probably a few of us that probably haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't either.
Haven't seen
either.
it.
I've seen
Yep.
it, but it's not in my
Yeah.
top 5. So
That's the Talk to Me directors, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I have not seen Talk to Me either, so
you're
I
not
need to see
missing
both of
much.
them. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I didn't
true.
talk
Talk to Me isn't that good.
I like the story. I just
Yeah.
didn't like any of the characters because they're all like 20, and
I
I
would-
was like,
Yeah.
I would definitely suggest Bring Her Back.
I feel that statement in my bones. I didn't like any of the characters because they're all like 20.
Are we getting old? No, it's not.
Maybe a little.
I'm the oldest one here, as far as I know.
Anyway,
But-
so why bring her back? Why is that your number 5?
I just enjoyed it. And again, I didn't watch a lot. I'm like a lot of y'all. We just didn't watch a lot because I was in the middle of burning my entire life down during 2025. And Bring Her Back was just one of those things that took me out of a funk for a couple of weeks. And I just thought it was a dark, great movie. And it's just something that hit me at the right time. So that's why it ended up on my top 5 list.
I really want to see it. I've heard really good things about it.
well,
Yeah,
hey,
same.
whenever you can find a movie that gets you out of a funk or whatever, and I think we can all relate to that, I think that's awesome. So I'm glad that I liked it. I did appreciate. I mean, it has a very peculiar story to it. I just wanted a little bit more out of the ending. I really wanted it to go
Yeah.
batshit crazy. I mean, crazy is because it felt like it was building up to something, and then it kind of was like, eh. But outside of that, I thought everything else was done really, really well.
I 100% agree. I would have loved to have seen a better ending.
What's the character's name? The kid that like eats
Oh.
tables and knives and stuff. That was my favorite character, and I was just waiting for him just to go crazy on that lady.
Yes.
I was thinking that we were gonna have, not to spoil it for those who haven't seen it, towards the end of the scene in the pool when she's trying to drown that kid. I'm imagining in my head that something like "Let the Right One In" is going to happen. That's what I was wanting to see happen, but it didn't get there. I'm like, oh, come on.
Close, but not quite.
No.
Now I'm just remembering how great that scene in Let the Right One was.
Yeah.
That was so good. I love that movie. It's not my number one favorite vampire movie, but if someone wanted to argue that it was the best vampire movie ever made, I could not.
It'd be
argue
hard
against
to contradict it.
Yes.
Yeah.
it. So good, so good.
It is
And
very,
the
very
original, not the remake, but
Yeah, always
Yeah.
the original.
yeah.
But okay, so we got one for Bring Her Back. Okay, Molly, I know you're good at finding these obscure films, and I'm expecting to hear a few on your top 5 list. So what's your number 5?
Well, I think there might only be one on my list, and it is my number 5 actually. That I would be very surprised if any of you've heard of it, just because I'd be surprised if anybody's heard of it. But I loved it, but I just have to preface it. I love trash, like pure, unadulterated trash horror. That's my wheelhouse. I love it. And there is a little movie by a director named Michael Atkinson that came out this year called Video Maniacs. Have any of you seen it?
Is that a remake of the?
It's not.
80s?
Not
No.
Videodrome, no.
It's a no budget anthology film from a few different directors actually, but I mean, it's like Michael Atkinson's brainchild, and it's all connected by Atkinson and his wife actually play a couple in the movie who go out. He wants to go and rent movies from a video store that's closed down because we don't have video stores anymore, and he's like living in a dream world. But anyway, they find this old dubbed VHS tape, and they put it in, and then they watch a bunch of very bizarre, surreal, gross, trashy no budget little short films, and I loved it. It felt like it was made with such passion. And my favorite thing about it is the opening monologue that he gives in defense of Maximum Overdrive. The whole opening monologue is talking about how Maximum Overdrive 2 needs to happen, and he is so angry that it never has. And I was like, 5-star film. Just without seeing the rest of it, I love it.
I will go watch that immediately.
Yeah, it's very, you have to have a high tolerance for trash though, because it is a very trashy, very, very low budget movie. But man, I thought it had so much heart, and there were some really good things in it, and then some not so good things in it, just like any anthology. Hits and misses, but yeah, that was my number 5 for this year or last year was Video Maniacs.
Well, I have one that's not necessarily my top 5, but because I knew some other movies were going to be talked about, I'm going to talk about this one anyway, just because I too kind of like stuff sometimes a little trashy and just playing out stupid. So, and I wanted to mention it. So if you're looking for a really dumb slasher film, especially one that hits this whole like we're gonna do crappy or campy horror versions of Disney properties, I got one for you, and that is called The Death of Snow White.
I am so mad I still haven't seen that.
This one is just so much fun. First of all, I do want to say the practical effects used in this, and they're very gruesome, are really good. That's what I'll say that. And really, for a very low budget campy film, the performances, at least by some of the actors, is actually pretty good. I will say that the lady who plays the evil queen, I mean, she does a really good job, and it's what she has to do because she's constantly trying to age. So to stay young, she basically has women stolen off the streets, has them dismembered, and she bathes in their blood. So it is that gruesome. But the Snow White and the guy who plays like the kind of the Prince Charming character are both pretty good in it. But there's so much weird stuff. Like they will have characters. They also have the Grimm brothers featured in this. But they will do like things where we'll be watching something and all of a sudden a character will just come out of nowhere and be in frame. And then we'll be watching, see, there's a couple characters, and then they will just leave the frame like, well, where did they just go? They were just there in the scene. But the best thing are the 7 dwarfs. They are some foul-mouthed, raunchy, badass little fuckers. And it's a very diverse cast. We have some female dwarfs in there, and so it's a very diverse dwarf cast, and they're probably the best part of the movie. So yeah, it's on. I know it's playing on Tubi, so I would say check that one out if you want to watch one of those. I haven't really watched too many of these Disney properties, being other than like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and another movie that came out this year called Mouseboat Massacre and Screamboat. But
Screamboat.
Yeah.
And the 2 Popeye movies that came out this year, but that's not Disney, is it?
No, but still cartoonish-esque, but I haven't seen
those
either.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I've only seen like 7 movies that came out last year, and 2 of them were Popeye horror movies. And like, why is that my priority? Like, why? Like, I didn't see Weapons. I didn't see, but I sure as hell saw Shiver Me Timbers and Popeye's Revenge.
But anyhow, that was one I just wanted to give a shout. I would say out of all the campy slashers this year, this one was my favorite of the year, so I wanted to mention that. So
speaking of cool ideas like the Poonaverse, do y'all know that Nancy Drew is now in the public domain?
Ooh, no,
we could do a lot of. Is the Hardy Boys also?
I think the Hardy Boys might be next year because I think they came out around the same time, didn't they?
Ooh, yeah. I would watch the hell out of a Nancy Drew horror movie. Oh, that would be amazing.
Oh, they could definitely do some things with that because I do remember they used to have like the TV shows in the 70s. You would watch like the first half hour would be an episode of Nancy Drew, and then the next half hour would be an episode of the Hardy Boys. And I think they even crossed over a couple times. So you could do a lot of cool, interesting things with that. That would be something I would want to see. That's like coming
Absolutely.
really from my childhood there.
Yeah.
I gotta bring it. I gotta find that list again. That's the public domain list. There's actually some cool stuff that's in the public domain this year.
The
Mm, I
public
bet.
films just come out in the last few years. I haven't seen the Grinch one, the Winnie the Pooh one. I haven't seen any of those. So,
I
like,
haven't seen the Grinch
Yeah.
one either. That's
yeah,
David Howard Thornton plays the Grinch, doesn't he?
I think so. Yeah, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
I'd like to see it just because I really like him as a physical performer, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I missed out on like all the Christmas horror movies. I didn't see any of those this year. So
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Josh, did you say?
Kyle. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
No, sorry. Did you say what your number 5 was?
Yeah, well, okay, I mentioned. I'll get to that because all right, that's my honorable mention. My number 5 really would have been Together, which came out.
Oh, that's one of mine.
Oh, is it? Oh, good. I'm not the only
Yeah.
one on that one. That one there.
Yeah.
That's a movie too. Like Weapons, just gets funnier and funnier. It's basically about this couple, and I'll probably let Sam, when she gets to it, talk more about it. But they leave the city, they go live somewhere out in the country, and they're trying to reconnect. She actually has a job. He's a bit of a loser, to be honest with you. But they fall into a well. They get some sort of substance on him, and somehow he is constantly being drawn to her to where they literally end up getting stuck together at the end. But and it's really kind of funny in both a morbid way, and it looked like practical effects as far as the body horror elements do. If it wasn't, then they did a good job in the CGI. But it's done really well. I thought it was entertaining movie, but the best scene, and this is a funny scene, it looked like something that would have seen out of a Porky's movie, where they are having sex in the bathroom of this school, and he gets stuck for a
Yes.
That's 100% Porky's right there.
yeah, that's something. But
Is Alison Brie the main actress in that?
yes, I was going to
God, I
say.
love her. And knowing that it's funny, which I've just seen the cover art. I haven't seen like a trailer for it. I really hadn't heard that much about it. But seeing that she's in it and knowing that it's funny, I'm gonna have to watch it because I think she is so.
I don't think
so
it's funny.
You don't?
No.
I can't wait to hear her thoughts on
I'm
it.
very curious to hear Sammy's take on the movie then.
But
Yeah.
well, I liked her performance so much. I wanted to see some other movies that she might have been in, and I saw another movie called Horse Girl, which came out in 2020, 2021, which is about a girl who starts believing that she's been abducted and is actually a clone or something like that. So,
Do you watch many series, like TV series?
very few. I know she was on like the first season of Mad Men. That shows you my.
Well, she was one of the leads in a show called Glow about
Okay.
women's professional wrestling, and she was fantastic in it. Like,
Okay.
I loved her in that. Yeah, it was really good.
He's got the other lady who's kind of her frenemy nemesis. She was the lead. Did you ever see the horror film The Hunt? Where it's kind of like they're kind of satirizing like the left and the right, basically.
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It's kind of cutting out.
Yeah, it's kind of a Most Dangerous Game, like modern take.
Mhm.
But it's
Yeah.
not Alison Brie, but the other lady. I'm totally blanking on her name, but she's excellent. But she's like this. It's like a bunch of these people are chosen. They don't know what's going on. They're being hunted by like this group of wealthy people, and but she's like what they don't know is like she's this highly capable. They got the names incorrect, and she's like this highly capable military ex-soldier, and so she's trying to survive that. But it's also funny too. But yeah, I highly recommend that one. But
What was that called?
it's called The Hunt, and I think
Hunt.
I don't know if it's Tubi, but I'm pretty sure it's streaming on something you've probably got, most likely.
All right, I'm putting it on my watch list.
Yeah, it's really good. It came out the same year as Ready or Not, and they're kind of
Oh,
similar
okay.
in some ways. Kind of,
Hmm.
But with the whole, again, you got a human being hunted by like wealth, 1% or whatever. So, but yeah, I love both those movies, but yeah, that one's pretty fun, and the lead's really cool too. So, as far as a final girl, I think she's one of the cooler final girls that's come out in the last few years. So,
Okay. Yeah,
All
that's
right,
what I
cool.
was thinking. So, Kyle, what was like number 4 on your list from last
number
year?
4 for me is a little film about a dog that in a haunted house with his owner and has to put up with
Oh,
some
I wanted
straight
to
up
see it so
demon
bad.
bullshit. So, Good Boy is my number 4. I just barely got bumped out by one before it, but it was an awesome experience. We had been looking forward to it for like a year since I first saw like the stills for it, and the actual synopsis, and I was like, "Holy shit! This is how has no one done this before in the 100 years of film
Yes.
yet?" And so I took both my daughters. We went and saw it because they're both big horror fans, and so I loved it. I mean, it's definitely a low budget film, and there's maybe some certain things about the overall story that I wish were maybe a little different or could have been tweaked a bit. But it's Larry Fessenden, indie horror legend, had his hand in the production of it. He's also, has a cameo in it as well as like the dad or the grandpa. But it is, and I don't have to go into too much detail on this. If somebody else
No.
has this on the list, if we want to not, go further,
I
but
haven't seen it. I didn't realize that Larry Fessenden was a part of it.
yeah. So the director, I don't know how much you all know about it, but the guy him and his wife directed the film. It's their dog in real life named Indy, and
Hmm.
so he played the owner in the film. But because he's not an actor, they hired a voice actor to do all of his voice work. So he's dubbed over, and it's done really well. You can't tell. And then the wife plays the sister on the phone. But he had to star in the film because he is the only person, because Indy is not a film trained dog at all in any capacity. He's just a
That's
normal
what made it
dog like
better.
ours. Yes.
Yeah.
So he had to be the one to be in the film because in Indy, he's the only person that Indy would respond to, right? And it's so funny because after the film's over, throughout the movie, you're just like, God damn, this dog is brilliant, right? Like, this is just a brilliantly, like, how is this dog emoting? Fantastic. But then at the end of the movie, if you hang on kind of as a stinger, they'll show some behind the scenes clips of all the work they did with him. And it, the dog is just being the dog, right? It's the filmmaking and the editing and
Yes.
everything that is making the dog appear like he's emotive, right? When he's absolutely not, when you just watch it without any specific camera cut or angle, the score playing along with it to build emotion. So when you see the sausage being made behind the movie, you're like, oh, okay, this dog is just like, it might take him all day to get one shot because they have to do it 100 times because he just won't get it right. And so I think it took multiple years for them to make this. But ultimately, although it's like if you took the dog out of the film and it was just a basic haunted house film, I don't think it would be very special in any way, right? Like it would be pretty basic, and there would be a lot of great haunted house films outside of it. But with it having that awesome gimmick of it coming from the dog, there were so many things I took from it, not to spoil anything, but just like that I felt like was pretty powerful in that one, I think it speaks to whether you're a dog who loves someone in whatever capacity a dog does, likely unconditionally. I'm guessing. I obviously I'm not a dog, so I don't know. Or if you're a human being, another family member or friend or spouse, whatever. But when you have someone who's in the throes of maybe addiction or a terminal illness, and I've been in those situations before, it shows that you can fight and fight and fight and fight for so long, right, to try to protect and save the one you love, but eventually it might be too late, or it's just inevitable, and you have to know when to let go and try to move forward or whatever. And that's done beautifully with that dog and the relationship with his owner, right? And so it also plays to what we do when that person is gone, right? And then also too, it just made me think about the fact, like, if it was just me and my dog, and I didn't have my family here, something happened to me to continue caring for them, the fear of that, like if something were to happen to me, um, who would take care of my dog or my cat or anything like that. So there's some deeper levels there on this movie that I thought about it for a long time after it was over. And so just on a basic level of just pure enjoyment, it's really, really well done and such an original concept. But at the same time, if you want to dig deeper, there's definitely some subtext there on relationships and what it means to love somebody, but what it also means to be willing to just know when somebody either has no choice and that they're going to pass, or they're beyond saving, right? Like sometimes people are beyond saving in some certain way, and to be able to fight like that as long as you can, but then pull back, and it really ends with this really beautiful shot, right? That kind of encapsulates that. So, and on top of that, you just have some cool jump scares, and I mean, most people are like this. Like, I can watch a movie where 100 people are just slaughtered, right, or whatever, and I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
you're affected by it, but like, I can zoom through that, right, as long as it's like not the elderly or children or something like that. But
Right.
if I were to watch a horror film where like 100 dogs were just getting, like in or in mortal coil or whatever, like in mortal danger, I would have a hard time watching that movie. And so when you're seeing this dog and who is absolutely lovable, right, and he's just in peril constantly, it's effective for sure. So I'm definitely, much like the movie Skinamarink that came out a handful of years ago, and I don't think that filmmaker's made anything since. But it's similar in a way that it's a very low budget film where I came away, and I don't find a lot of Skinamarink fans, although I really enjoyed it, and it's a tough hang. But I came away from this in the same having the same feeling, in that I will follow this director wherever he chooses to go next, right? So, but yeah, I loved it, and it's at the very least, it's a really fun time, one time watch. So, or a
Okay.
fun watch, excuse me. So, but yeah, good boy, good movie.
I will. That's one that just came on my radar about a week ago, and then it seemed like in just I would say the
You
last
guys,
few
can
weeks,
you
I
hear
started
me?
hearing about that. Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Uh-oh.
Okay, I don't think she can hear us, so I will. Yeah, do, 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 do.
Check.
Siblings.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
She'll probably be back here. She's probably working on something.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. Yeah. Anyhow, I was gonna say about Good Boy. I just heard about this in the last few weeks, so it sounds like, well, it sounds like a movie my wife would probably like. She loves, or maybe not because she loves dogs. So I don't
The
know.
dog doesn't die, so the dog.
Okay.
I will
Okay.
say that I won't.
The
spoil
dog
it.
is fine. Yeah.
Okay.
The
All
dog, the dog,
right.
the owner, the owner. I won't go into that, but I wouldn't want to be him. But the dog, because that's always the thing, right? Somebody's like, "Oh, I don't know, I can't." If that dog dies, and I'm like, "Look, I'll at least tell you that. Don't not see it because you're afraid that he's gonna do it." It doesn't ruin the movie.
Yeah.
Honestly, it makes it. I don't know if it makes it better or not, but if that's a problem for you, yeah, he definitely he survives. So, and it's on Shutter, by the way. So
It
if
is.
you,
Okay.
yeah. So I figured we've got some Shutter people here, so it's on there.
It's been one I've really been wanting to see, but I haven't been able to see yet.
It's still in Shutter's
Highly
top
recommend it.
10 too, by the way. It's like number 7 in Shutter's top 10.
Okay.
I don't
And
have any access to anything right now.
And it's been out for a while. I think it came out early October when we saw it
Yeah.
because it was in theater for a few weeks and hit Shudder while it was still in theaters, I think. And so I was just happy. I thought we were going to have to go to Nashville to see it, but it actually came. It came locally here at our Regal Cinemas. So
Nice.
yeah. So because Skinamarink was in Nashville, um, we had to make a excursion there. So, but yeah. Again, if I would put that one up at the top. I don't want to build it up too much, but I
Right.
would top the list. So I thought it was great for sure, especially knowing that it is a very very low budget film. What he
Mhm.
was able to do is pretty great. So
Awesome. Okay, well that's one for
Very
Good
cool.
Boy. Okay, so Sammy, what was number 4 on your list?
All right, so number 4 on mine was the new Toxic Avenger.
Ah, cool.
I have not seen it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man,
That
so
just missed my
our
top five.
local our local theater ended up playing it. So I went to see it there and stuff, and it's kind of interesting how they have him as like a single dad. Like that's not something I really expected, but I think they did a good job with like having a lot of nods back to like the original film and a lot of like guest stars and stuff.
Very cool. How
Looks
did it
like
compare to
Molly's
you?
power went out on their.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh no.
That
I
sucks.
totally
Well, it
thought
came
that was
back
going
on,
to
but
be
she's
me.
having. I guess they're like resetting the Wi-Fi, so hopefully she'll be able to join back with us here shortly. But okay, I was wondering because I hadn't heard really a whole lot of people talk too much about that movie. I think, but from what I've heard, was positive. Those that have talked about it.
How does it compare to
Yeah,
the
it
original?
like it's not as like raunchy and cheesy as the original, I feel like, but
Yeah.
they did try to like slip in a lot there that was like to the original. So I like that aspect of it, and I understand how like they were kind of making it more of like a mainstream movie, especially since they were playing it in theaters and it was kind of, going that route. But other than that, I think they did like a really good job with it.
There's only like a handful of trauma films they could even pull that off with, and Toxic Avenger is
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
high on the list.
I remember
yeah,
watching. Did any of
definitely.
you? Did any of you guys? I don't know if you all may be younger than me, but remember the Toxic Crusaders cartoon that
Yes.
came out in the early
Yeah,
90s? Did you all
yep,
watch that? Yeah.
yeah,
So like
yep.
that was my first experience with the Toxic, and then later watched the still too young, but there was
Toxic Crusaders,
yeah,
Toxic Crusaders.
which I think is on Tubi.
It is.
But there was that weird sliver of time in the early 90s where like they were like making children's cartoons out of these like weird trauma indie no budget movies. Like there was like I remember there was an Attack of the Killer Tomatoes cartoon. Remember that?
Yep, yeah.
Killer tomatoes.
I remember my cousin and I we watched we watched we watched those cartoons. So we rented one summer when I was like staying up in Louisville. We rented the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes movie, which I think is like PG. It's pretty, it's pretty tame.
It's tame.
But then
Yeah.
we watched the Toxic
Yeah,
Avenger,
it is.
that one, and that one's not quite as tame.
No.
Because that one, I don't think Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is trauma, if I'm not mistaken. But
No.
but yeah, but there was just like this, like these like little low budget, bad films or whatever that were being turned into cartoons inexplicably. Like I don't understand who they thought those were for. I mean, I'm thankful for it, right? As a horror loving kid, it was amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, how many kids are out there with their killer tomato stuffed animal like in front of the TV? So I don't know.
Yeah.
The same way, Kyle. I remember, like, what was it, the mid '90s when we had Liquid Television?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I remember
that was the reason to stay up
good.
late at night because it wasn't just Eon Flux. I mean, I loved Eon Flux, but that's not why I was watching it because it was the weirdest shit you've ever seen in your life.
Dude, the Max.
Adult Swim.
The Max.
Yeah, the Max.
And the head.
Eon Flux,
Yep.
the head, yeah, the head. There was some good ones on there. Gosh, I haven't thought about liquid television in a minute.
I was actually surprised that the head never became like a thing.
What's that? Liquid television?
Yeah, well, the head.
Oh, the head. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
like Eon Flux was like the most popular thing that came out of that.
Yeah, because the Max was only a couple seasons, which I thought that
Yeah.
was honestly out of all of them, that was probably my favorite.
For those of you under
Yeah.
35, this was Adult Swim before Adult Swim.
That's what I was gonna say,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
My favorite thing about Liquid Television were the little mini commercials in between the shows. That most of them were animated
Yeah.
by Bill Clinton, who was like
Yeah.
one of the greatest animators of the 90s. He made a really weird movie too called I Married a Strange Person, which is one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen in my life. Highly recommend it to those of us over 35 because it'll bring back some memories.
I mean,
I'm 34, so I'm almost there. No, I'm kidding. I'm
yeah.
not there. But yeah,
Oh,
but man,
Yeah.
and this is the part where your Gen Z fans have probably jumped off, Josh, where we're talking liquid television
No.
here.
I don't think I
YouTube
have
right
any
now,
Gen
children.
Z fans.
I'm just glad I came back in
You
time
should.
so that I could hear the Liquid Television. I'm so sorry, by the way, half the power in our house went out, so we had to reset the Wi-Fi.
You're
But
good.
Oh man,
Sorry about
I'm
that.
glad you got back.
it happens.
Well, Sammy was just talking about her fourth fate, which was the Toxic Avenger movie. So
nice. Liam just watched that the other day and is now watching all of the previous ones because he loved it so much.
awesome. Well, good.
Yeah.
That's cool. The third one's the best one.
Oh, really? I love Citizen Toxie. I'm a big fan of 4,
Yeah.
but
and yes, I will vote Toxie for president, actually. So
yeah.
only if Sergeant Kabukiman could be, the
Aw.
Oh
Attorney
yeah.
I was just talking about Sergeant Kabuki Man because Liam's never seen it, and I really want him to see Sergeant Kabuki
Oh,
Man.
good.
I feel like I always talk about him. He comes up every 6 months randomly.
Are any of you all Class of Nukem High fans?
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh. That was a long time
Yeah.
ago, but yes.
That's Trauma, right? Am I confused?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
I am
Yeah, that's what I thought.
such
Okay,
a,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm such a trauma person.
Same.
Anyway,
Absolutely.
I was in a trauma movie.
Dude,
What?
that's
Which
right.
Oh, lucky.
Yeah. Poultry Geist, Night of the Zombie Chicken.
they're making
Yeah.
a
Were you
sequel.
really? Dude,
They're
that's
making-
awesome.
They're making a sequel
Yeah.
right now.
Mhm.
That
I
is
had
so
heard
great.
that they were doing the sequel.
One of
Yeah.
one of the adult film stars that I follow is going to be in it. Actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I originally tried out for one of the topless girl scenes, but they already had enough topless girls, so then I ended up being one of like the protesters and then one of those chickens.
Dude, that's awesome. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it was like 20 years ago.
Oh. Speaking of
That's
which,
awesome.
I just wrote about Combat Shot not too long ago, and that it's
Mhm.
the most real movie about early 1980s America. First of all,
That's good.
because you had, I mean, you take a couple of the weirder elements out, like the baby, and
Mhm.
it's really, if you really think about it, I mean, the rampant drug use, it was the how shitty we treated Vietnam vets in the early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Under Reagan. And I mean, I'll tell you this much right now: it is the hardest trauma film to watch. Is Combat Shot, because you are just it jars you just how real that movie is.
I think it's arguably the best trauma film, personally. I mean, is it my favorite warming? I want to go watch that. It's not Toxic Avenger, but I think it's as good as anything they've made, for sure.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's really good, but I mean, it's a really, if you haven't seen it, it's a really hard watch.
yeah.
I actually haven't seen it. I've seen War, but I haven't seen Combat Shock. I'm gonna have to watch that.
Another one to put on the list, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The never-ending list.
Oh, I know. It never stops. I'm going to have to start shredding them or something like that. Just start over with a whole new list now. But I don't know where. Let's see here. We're kind of out of order, but what the heck? Yanni, what was your number 4?
My
favorite
number 4 was the same as Kyle's. It was Good Boy.
Okay.
and
Nice.
pretty much for the same reasons. I mean, I'm one of those people. Do y'all remember? God, this had to be about 15 years ago. Hardcore Henry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, that was at the time that was going to be the way a lot of horror films were done, and I was so waiting for first person horror to be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the angle I'm going to come at, since Kyle said basically a lot of the things that I like about that movie. I want more first person horror, even though we saw it from the eyes of a dog in this one.
Yeah.
I would love to see more first person horror, but
Well-
I'll give you an honorable mention real quick.
Okay.
And I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I enjoyed it. Beast of War.
I didn't see it. Haven't even heard
I
of
did
it.
too.
Yeah.
It's actually inspired by a real event in World War II.
Mm.
Um,
Now you have me hooked here.
HMAS Armidade was sunk by Japanese bombers in the Timor Sea. Well, in this movie, a few of them actually survived, and they're floating on a raft in the ocean with a shark circling them the entire time.
Mm.
Ooh.
It's
like that.
a slow burn, but it was, and a lot of people didn't like it. Maybe again, slow. You know how slow burn horror is. It's
Mhm.
you either love it or you hate it.
Right.
But I really enjoyed Beast of War, and by the way, you can also find that on Shudder, which you can find about 90% of our movies on Shudder or Tubi.
Right. Those are like my same thing with me. It's either going to be Shudder or Tubi, occasionally HBO Max or Hulu, but yeah.
Well, Yanni, can I ask you real quick? Have you seen Frankenstein's Army?
Yes.
Okay. Are you a fan of that one? Because I always thought that even though it's packaged as a found footage movie, to me, it felt like POV. It felt like first person horror
Kinda
in
did.
the most wonderful way. I don't know. I always loved it, so I was
Yeah.
going to recommend it.
It's I think it's one of the few found footage films, because again, my stance on found footage is either it's brilliant or it's complete garbage, and this falls into the brilliant category. And it's
Okay.
so hard to get it because, like I said, and I get it, found footage and really first person POV, it's really going to be hard to get it right.
Mhm.
And maybe that's why we don't see a lot of first person POV movies. Period, is
Yeah.
because just how hard it is
Well,
to
I think
actually
it,
do it.
Yeah.
it works in Good Boy in that, and I never saw Hardcore Harry or Henry, but I think you're purely looking out of his eyes, kind of like
Mhm.
Michael Myers as a kid at the beginning of Halloween, right?
Yes, the whole
But the
time.
good thing with Good Boy is that it's from his POV, but you're not looking out from his head the entire time, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's not the purest POV like with what Yanni's speaking to. It deviates to where you're looking at a normal shot, but it's filmed in a way that it's obvious it's the point of view from the dog, right? And and one thing that helps with that, you never see the owner's face. You never see the human face like that.
Yes,
You
that's
know,
what builds
if
the
I'm not
tension.
mistaken, yeah, so it even further creates that illusion that like you are with the dog, absolutely, and it doesn't deviate from that, but it also doesn't set it up into like a even further gimmick where you're like Hardcore Henry, just like the dog's head turns and you're with it, which
Right.
I would not have enjoyed that probably as much if it had just stayed within his eyes like that the whole time, so
Yeah.
for sure,
Hmm.
yeah.
Interesting.
No, that's a great point, Yanni. And
You guys
Yanni,
are making me
before
watch Good
All right,
Boy. I'm
we
going
got
to have to watch it finally.
there is a found footage
I can't wait
trailer.
to see it.
You got to see it. But Yanni, there's a found footage trailer talking about found footage that watched yesterday that we got to talk about before if we have a second before we jump off this. I want to make sure if you all haven't heard of it to check it out because it looks. If anyone is a found footage fan at all, this looks pretty great. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I'm a complete sucker for the brilliant and the terrible. I will watch
Yeah.
any found footage movie you
Yeah.
put in front of me. So.
This one's called Doop Doop. Is it? I think Doop 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 Doop. I think or Doob Doob or something like that. But which it's It's not the best title, but it just check out the trailer. I could not tell you what it's about. It just looks. But I'm all in. I'm excited.
Hey,
I think
I believe Blair Witch.
I love Blair Witch. I love the Blair Witch Project.
Could you just imagine? If
I
Blair Witch
believed
came out
it
today?
when I went to the
Oh,
theater. You know.
Sadie, thank you.
So when I
because
first
so
saw
did
it when
I.
it came out, I didn't realize that it was like not real. You know, I was believing all the hype.
Yeah.
I was too, and I wrote about it in college last year, and there were a couple of classmates of mine that are a lot younger. You know, they're like actual college age kids, and they got the biggest kick out of the fact that I thought it was real. And like, you know, I'm like, no, you don't understand how effective that was back then, because we just really, most of us didn't see it. You know, and I actually had
And
a
the
real complicated
marketing was
relationship.
just done so well.
It was amazing. That was the class that I was taking, was a marketing class, and I picked Blair Witch as my topic for my final because the marketing was so unbelievably good that we people like me and apparently you, which makes me feel so much better, were like, yeah, this is totally real.
By the way,
Totally.
Kyle, is it Duba Duba?
Duba, yes, Duba. Duba.
How do you spell that?
DOOBA. Here, I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But just to speak to the Blair Witch real quick, because I don't run into a lot of people that ever was in that position that we all have been with that. I think I was 15 when it came out, and I went with a group of buddies. We went to see it like a sophomore in high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was in that perfect time frame of like a burgeoning internet with just a little bit. You could get a little bit of info, but it wasn't enough at that point where you could be spoiled on that, right? And so it was like they had that fake ass website, and it was perfect. And so we all, like this group of us guys who all were like, yeah, we're tough and shit. You know, we played sports and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we're going to see it, and was that 99? And we're all sitting there, and then I mean, like by the last 30 minutes of it, I'm like, how in the fuck are they able to legally show this movie? And then I'm like, am I cursed for watching this and not getting up? You know, and I don't believe in that kind of shit. But like at the time, you know, I'm this dumb, like very gullible 15-year-old, and I'm not.
It was very convincing, the marketing.
Oh yeah, I mean when it was over.
Yeah.
Oh, so go ahead, Molly.
Oh no, go ahead, Kyle. Sorry, please finish your story.
And so we left, and we all went to stay like at my house that night or whatever. And there was one friend that actually was driving already, so we were all riding with him. And so I lived like in the country or whatever, and so we had to drive through these woods, and we had to cross a bridge. And under this bridge, there was always these urban legends of like Nazis and like cults and things like that. Because there was all this weird graffiti down there. I never saw anything like that. It was all BS. But at the point when you're 15, it's spooky, right?
Yeah.
And so when we were crossing that, and when I say it's dark, there's no street lights, there's nothing. It's just pitch besides the stars. And so we are driving already pretty freaked out, right? And we are driving on this bridge, and I don't know if it was a bobcat or something screamed in the woods. And so we all just like holy shit! And he just floored it. We may or may not have up with my closet light on that night with night lights. That may or may not have happened. And then like a week later, those actors were on MTV Live. You know what I mean? And I was like, wait, we're on Entertainment Weekly.
Aren't you supposed to be dead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I warned you guys.
That's the funny
That's the thing that I find so fascinating about Blair Witch is that it was really a trick you could only play once. And they just got to it first. I can't think of a single movie that's come out since where a huge portion of the viewership actually thinks it's real. We go into it so skeptical now because of Blair Witch. So in a way, it kind of like hurt the found footage genre, while at the same time, like, I don't know, I find it so fascinating because you can only do that shit once.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think Blair Witch will always be the bar as far as found footage. Yeah. But, you know, we talk about all the time you keep hearing about people that say, "Oh, you can't make that today." But you honestly could not make Blair Witch today,
No.
and it
Mhm.
be as popular as it was because it's just this, just because of how we spoil everything. I mean, we have a television show on Netflix now that pulls the curtain back on professional wrestling, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not-
dude.
and I was watching not
You mean wrestling's fake? I didn't know.
scripted, sir, scripted.
Right, I know.
you don't want a ton of wrestlers on your butt. No, I was watching, what was it the other day? I was watching one of the wrestlers podcasts, and they were like, "Yeah, we have to hide people. People have to hide from us now." Talking about everybody backstage because somebody will run to their computer and spoil it, and I'm like,
Mhm.
that's why you can't do Blair Witch today, because somebody's here's.
Yeah.
But before the movie comes out, there'll be 30 YouTubers that Blair Witch debunked.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh God!
Let me ask you this, and then I know we got to move on. Any Blair Witch 2 fans? Book of Shadows? Any?
So I am not, but my boyfriend, that's his favorite Blair Witch movie. And he
Really?
will be so happy that you brought it up. Yeah, because he absolutely loves it. We have had so many arguments about it because I don't like it, but he loves it.
Man, that's wild. I haven't seen it since like it came out in theaters, and I hated it then. But I've wanted to come back to it to possibly write about it at some point.
It
Like,
is
to do
really not as bad because I was in the same boat as you. I hated it because I thought I don't know, man. I was
wasn't
uber goth
considered, right?
when I was a teenager, and I hated the goth representation in the movie. I was like, oh, great, you just cast like a blonde cheerleader and dyed her hair black, and we're supposed to expect that she's this like epic goth girl, and I was very personally offended. But like, honestly, going back and watching it now, it's not as bad as I remember it being. I would love personally to read, something that you write about it, see what you think of it now, because it's not terrible. It's just not great.
I went back and rewatched because I was going to do that, and then I went back and rewatched American Werewolf in Paris, and I think we talked about this on a previous cast, but that scared me off from going back to some of those really shitty 90 ones when I was a teenager that I didn't like even then when my taste sucked. So like, not that it's great now, but it was worse then. I was a lot more open to just whatever at that point. But I went back and watched that, and that one about broke me. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to go back and write about bad movies anymore. And I still haven't. I still have never finished that. That is like this unfinished manuscript just sitting there that I still have not posted or anything because I don't even know how to finish it, honestly.
That's so funny because I hated An American Werewolf in Paris, and I only ever saw it the one time, and I never even felt compelled to go back.
I haven't even seen it, and that's because everyone that has seen it says it's bad. There we go.
That's
actually
I
not
like it.
That's not a bad discussion topic, actually.
Yeah, I think
a movie you hated as a kid that you've gone back and it's like, I kind of like it now.
That'd be a good topic. Yeah,
it would be a good episode. Yeah,
something to think about for later.
Well, the only reason I did it is because I did American
Texas
Werewolf
Chainsaw Massacre.
The original?
Really, you didn't like it as a kid?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's like
I feel like as a
horror.
kid I didn't really like understand it or whatever, and then
see
kind of
that.
when I got older and started, I kind of like I liked it. Once I was
actually
older.
completely get that. I've only ever walked out of the theater on 2 movies. One of them was Starship Troopers. Because I didn't understand it. It went so over my head. I was a teenager. And I went back and rewatched it about, 15 years ago, and I was like, oh my God, I was a moron. This movie's brilliant.
I'll be honest, I'm with you. I didn't get Starship Troopers until
Teenagers
after
don't get satire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Until after 9/11. And then once all the bullshit, the propaganda and all that shit, basically when I left the Republican Party, I finally understood that movie, and I'm like, this is why.
I can't. When I look back now, when I remember, I even walked out on a date because I was on a date at that movie. and I
Oh my.
left my date because I hated the movie so much. And like, when I look back on it now, I'm just like, man, what was wrong? Because I love it now. It's such a great movie. But, yeah.
Have you like run into that old date? I wonder if he's still sitting in the theater waiting for you
Oh
to come
no,
back.
he's actually an old friend. We are still in touch. He forgave me, but like, I didn't leave. I
I
didn't
just saw it
physically leave
again at the
theater.
drive-in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. I know that wasn't a horror movie, but just when you said that you didn't understand TCM, that's the first place my mind went. Was
Starship
like, yep,
Troopers
that
is
can
kind of
happen.
horror adjacent, I would say. So
Yeah.
close
Sci-fi.
enough.
It's horror's little sister, as I like to call it.
But when
Yeah.
we're watching that, it's like,
Yeah.
you're watching it at 16, 17 years old, or however.
Mhm.
I mean, I think it came out when, we're watching things so straightforwardly. We're not thinking about the subtext of whatever satire that
Mhm.
Verhoeven is trying to get across there with corporation. You know what I mean? You're just watching a
Mhm.
bug, soldier fight bug movie. And if
Yeah.
you're just watching it from that lens, I mean, it's not as good, right? Unless you really know
Mm.
what.
Tremors is much better.
Do
Oh
what?
well, yeah.
Yeah, I think that one you really have to like be in the zone.
Giant
It's
bugs.
different than like RoboCop, or, you know.
Oh. So
We got off topic.
yeah, a little bit.
What's
I should like change the name of the series now to Off Topic, but yeah,
I love this.
Molly, you caused all this ruckus. I don't know who caused the ruckus, but it's
Wait.
your turn. What's your? Yeah, I'm for now blaming you, but no, probably my fault though. I think I probably did something and it just sat back and blow it up. But
It's fine. I'll take
Molly,
it.
what's your
Probably
number
me.
4
Probably
favorite
me.
horror movie
Okay.
of the year?
Well, so my number 3 and 4 are kind of tied actually, but so I'm just gonna choose. Okay, so number 4. It's gonna be weird because we were just talking, earlier about not being able to really connect to movies when all the characters are like 20 years old.
Mhm.
This is an example of a younger movie, I think made for younger people, but I loved it. And that was Clown in a Cornfield. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was just a really fun time. It wasn't, it was a switch your brain off. You don't have to think too hard. You can if you want to, but I just thought it was a really fun slasher for this generation, and they don't get a lot of those, So yeah, I had a blast. We were cracking up. Liam and I watched it together. That was the most recent one from 2025 that I watched. It was just a few weeks ago, and I needed a laugh, and I was laughing my ass off through the whole thing. It was just such a good time. Yeah.
I'll be honest. I'll give everybody my canceled opinion. This will get me canceled quickly.
Oh no. Okay.
I thought Clown in the Cornfield was better than Terrifier 3.
Oh my God. No. Seriously.
I haven't seen Clown in the Cornfield, but because I wasn't a big fan of Terrifier 3, that could be possible for me.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, it's a fun slasher movie. Period.
It is.
They're really, and
Yeah.
there is some social
Absolutely.
commentary, and it is kind of introducing some. It's speaking specifically in the voice of this generation, this current generation, that it's aimed at, which I think is really great. But it's not trying too hard. It's just having a good time with people getting killed by clowns. I mean, it's a good time.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, it's definitely worth watching it. I have not seen it yet, so.
Yeah,
Cool.
I mean, I've heard of it, but it's one that just didn't quite make the list of movies that I binge watched back in November. But maybe I'll be one I'll look at.
I recommend it. I liked it so much
I
about
really
the book.
enjoyed it.
So, yeah.
That's.
Mhm.
I mean, I'll say this: if you partake, you might want to hit the bong once or twice watching it. You'll have a lot more fun hitting the bong too. I would love to watch that movie.
I think there's a lot of movies that become a lot more fun when one introduces Mary Jane.
Yes.
Trust me, because I tried watching Midsummer after smoking a few hits, and then tell me.
I would love to watch that movie
I
on
haven't
LSD.
seen that yet.
That's
It's,
a movie I
I
love
haven't
to be a comedy. So
I love
We were
Midsummer, and I would love to watch that movie high just once.
Oh, I don't know, man. I can't get
About-
high. I can't handle it. I get really panicky when I'm stoned. I don't think Midsummer would be a good idea for me at all. Like I would lose it.
I'm
I
the
think
one.
really-
I'm the one that finds everything funny.
Same here.
So-
Oh, look, let's take a big oversized go whack. Yeah, that's fine. It's like right out of a Bugs Bunny cartoon or
it's like
something.
right in the head. Woo!
Hey, look at that pale white pasty bastard running around naked out there. Hilarious. That one old lady gets behind him. I know we're getting off subject again, but like, gives him a little helping hand. How can you not find that funny?
It's-
But anyhow, here's my number 4, and I guarantee it's on no one's list because it wasn't even released here in the United States. It was a crowdfunded film, but it's called In Agrippa Terror. There we go. This was made by an independent studio in Scotland called Hex Studios in conjunction with Amicus Productions, what's the people who still own the rights of that. And they did pretty much an Amicus style anthology. And it's, I've like donated a few times to some of their movies, and in which case, I give them $25, and when the movie's ready to come out, I get a Blu-ray copy. So I got this back in October, and it is really good. Obviously, it's not available on streaming anywhere, so I can say is go to hexstudios.com and you can purchase a copy, probably either a digital or a physical copy, anywhere from $15 to $25 or whatever that is in euros or pounds, actually. But just to give you an idea of what it's about, it's basically you have 4 separate stories that take place in this old, dreary hospital. So if you like hospital horror, where it's like in these spooky little hospitals, I think you'll enjoy it. It's very heavy on the atmosphere, and it doesn't have an official rating, but I would say that it's probably PG-13, which typically I'm not a big fan of PG-13 horror films. But this one's so heavy on the atmosphere and the stories, one of which was loosely based off of H.P. Lovecraft stories. So they did introduce that concept to it. There's a little bit of mild gore in it, but it would be a good one to introduce someone who's kind of new to horror, or maybe like someone in their early teens, late adolescent ages to it. But it's really good.
Did you write about it?
Yeah.
Did you write about it on Substack?
Yeah.
Okay, because I wanted to add it to my watch list, and it's already on there. And so I'm guessing that's because you wrote about it, and I must have been intrigued by that.
But yeah, if you like that
Nice.
old school late 60s, early 70s stuff like whatever Trilogy of Terror or something like that, then I think this is a movie I think a lot of people would enjoy. So
It looks really good.
So for those of you that probably are watching this that do live in the UK or in Europe, you probably have easier access than we do here in America. It was about a year ago, I had one of the actresses who was in the movie. I did have her on the channel. That was about last March, I think. So so that's one. So if you get a chance, if you want to really support indie horror, if you have $20-25 to blow, give them a shot. I can put if I can find the let me see if I can find here real quick. Well, I'll do that later, and I might put it in our group chat or whatever, or put it in the YouTube chat where you can find it. But yeah, that was my number 4. So I figured, well, that one definitely no one's going to pick. So back onto you, Kyle. Let's go to number 3.
Well, you're not going to believe it. It's the same one you just talked about. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that one.
That would have been cool.
Like, haha, I did know it. Number 3, has anyone seen The Ugly Stepsister?
Not yet.
That
Okay.
just missed my
Yes,
list.
I have seen it.
Okay. So, I'm, huge body horror fan. I'm usually hit or miss if a film is like from the perspective of the villain. Sometimes it can be done really well, whether it's a book or film, right? Like, I love John Gardner's book Grendel. on the perspective of the Beowulf, not Gilgamesh, excuse me, the Beowulf tale, but from the perspective of the Grendel character, right? As far as being, if not a hero, at least an anti-hero in that. And in other things like maybe like the book Wicked, not as successful to me personally, although I love the musical and all that was great. But from this perspective, it's, you have one of the ugly stepsisters from the Cinderella story who typically is just, this kind of side villain along with the the wicked stepmother. But in this film, you actually get it from this one of the actual stepsisters' perspectives, where she's forced to, through her mother and society and everything, to change physically these things about herself to try to, basically to follow the story of Cinderella to get the prince or whatever. So, again, not to go into it, but just an excellent body horror film. My favorite since The Substance. And just highly recommend that one. It's a foreign film technically. I can't remember what country it's actually hails from.
No, I think
Is it Dutch or Netherlands?
I think so. I think it's either. I think it is Dutch.
Scandinavian. It's one of the Scandinavian countries, but yeah. So, and it goes there. It's gruesome. So I mean, if definitely for not for the squeamish, and like I said, but if you can handle The Substance, have you seen it, Yanni? Okay,
I've seen it too.
It just missed my
you
list.
seen Josh? Okay, yeah.
Same here.
So, and it's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen it. So, but anyway, so definitely that one. Would be my number. What are we on, 3? So
yeah, I was gonna say that one. It seems like body horror is kind of making a comeback, because with The Substance, Ugly Stepsister, and then Together that mentioned a little bit.
Yeah.
Seems like we're getting
and Suitable Flesh too. Suitable Flesh was a really good body horror film.
That could have started this trend, because it kind of seemed like it kind of went away. Those bizarre Cronenberg-esque body horror films have now slowly, I guess you could also say, Infinity Pool a little bit as well. Speaking of Cronenberg's, but I liked it a lot. I didn't like it. Well, I liked it the first time I watched it. And then after thinking about letting it marinate my brain for a good week, I'm like, oh, this was a lot better than I initially thought. So, yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And I think what you got, especially in 2025, when there was this big emphasis on Mar-a-Lago face and what else was it? MSNBC face, I think is what they called it, the left-wing version of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think you might see quite a few body horror films coming back.
Wasn't there's a new hit TV series. I can't remember the name of it, but I know it's really popular, and it's all about
Beauty?
botched plastic surgery, huh?
I think it's called Beauty.
Beauty.
I think you're right.
Yeah, and it's a body horror TV series too. I think you're right. I think that the subgenre is definitely having a bit of a renaissance.
Yeah.
For sure. I took I didn't take a course. I attended a lecture from the Miskatonic School of Horror Studies in England. They did this online lecture series, and it was all about actually tying Catholicism to body horror. It was sort of from that angle, looking at body horror films, drawing specifically from Catholicism. But that woman, I wish I could remember her name, the lecturer, she said she actually predicted a resurgence in interest in body horror as a result of the rising popularity of plastic surgery and social media. And so I think, with what Yanni was saying too about, the sort of public figures and the plastic surgeries, that sort of, face, I think it's definitely seeing a comeback.
Accessible, right? Whether it's aging or the 1% eatiness in society, or use or plastic surgery, or whatever, it can pertain to so many different conflicts that we have to deal with. And not only is it external, but it's internal, right? So the external forces of whatever this is making it internal to us, whether it's purely psychological and in our head, or if it's literally manifesting. And so really it being so that it really, for me, doesn't, I mean, I think this is pretty normal. It doesn't get any more personal in horror than body horror, right? And these are things that we all age, we all our bodies let us down over time. We know people that have their bodies changed maybe due to drugs and alcohol or some type of disease or plastic surgery, whatever the case is. And it's terrifying, right? It's terrifying if we see it happen to someone else. It's also scary. In some cases, we know it's inevitably going to happen to us, right? So, I mean,
it already has.
Yeah, right. So, like I love werewolf films. I'm not worried about a werewolf crashing into my window as we do this podcast. But over time, I will fear shit not staying up, or you know what I mean? Like just
Mhm.
right?
Well, yeah, and there's a lot of social pressure too when it comes to our bodies. So I think that there's also a lot of shame that comes along with that, and I don't think there's anything more powerful and more terrifying, than not just the horror of the body, but also being kind of feeling like you're stuck in that moment, and you're also feeling the shame alongside the fear. It's just a really powerful. I'm a huge fan of body horror as well, and I just think it's a really powerful medium. So I'm glad it's seeing a resurgence.
That and eco horror. Those are two of some of my favorite genres: is body horror and eco horror.
Yeah,
just basically almost for the same reason.
Horror. I thought you said Nico horror.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, who's Nico? But I'm going to go with you.
You guys don't know Nico horror?
There's this little 90 cats.
Eco horror is growing on me. Folk horror was my gateway to eco horror because I really couldn't connect as much until I got really into folk horror. Like probably about a decade ago, and that really leads well into the sort of environmental horrors. And it's really amazing.
Have you seen Frogs?
Love Frogs.
No. Oh yes, the one from the 70s.
Right? Okay, I'm like that's for me. That's what always comes to my mind. Because I don't think of Jaws or Grizzly, even though that is like a beast that's after us. It's not necessarily about like the ecosystem fighting back against us, right? So I think maybe there's a little bit of difference there, but yeah, Frogs is like the ultimate eco horror.
Have you seen Phase 4?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, you got to see Phase 4. I wrote about it. You got to see it. It was Phase 4. It was Saul Bass, the graphic designer that did like all of Alfred Hitchcock's title cards.
Yeah.
He directed it in 1974, I think, and it's a killer ant movie, but it's not any kind of killer ant movie you've ever seen in your life. It's very documentarian and it's a slow burn. It's amazing. I highly recommend it.
Cool. I have not seen it, but yes, I know what you're talking about now because I was like blanking out for a second there. So
yeah, I'm going to be singing its praises.
Very cool.
Hey, Sammy, what was your number 3?
Sorry. That's what it was my fault.
Well, actually, this is kind of leading perfectly because my number 3 was Together. So body horror, that Josh had already mentioned. And like I said, I didn't really see like the funny aspect of it all, but this one I was kind of like iffy about putting it on my list, but at the same time, I don't know, I feel like it's interesting to talk about too, and it's following this very like codependent couple that are trying to like spend less time together, but then at the same time like they move out to where they are together more. But it was very triggering, especially just recently getting out of like a 20-year relationship that was very codependent. This was like extremely triggering in a lot of aspects. Like some of the conversations they were having or some of the things they were saying, I was like, wow, yep. Yeah, like I totally understand that, totally get that. And then just it was kind of the most terrifying part about it for me, I think, was that they just ended up fusing together and just kind of being like, okay, I guess we're doing this. I guess we're going with this, even though they were fighting it for so long at the beginning and everything. And I feel like them just fusing didn't really like fix their problems. They kind of just combined it into now one human,
Wow.
I could understand that perspective, and now I feel like an ass for laughing at it.
Well, no, but like It makes me so curious about the movie that you both had such completely different tonal takes. Like, I really need to see this now. Like, that's interesting.
Well, you know how you view
Yeah.
a movie often depends on what your recent experiences have been, I guess. And this
Mhm.
documents that. You know, someone, you know, we talk
Yeah.
about Midsummer, but I know people who've been like in actual religious cults
Yeah.
who really look at that movie way differently than the way myself or
Yes.
Yanni might look at that movie. So it just shows you how your perspectives kind of form your opinions on a movie. We both love the movie, obviously. It's both in our top 5, but we had different perspectives on it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's wonderful.
It was
That's
one of those ones. I'm sorry, what was?
Oh, nothing. I wasn't saying anything important. Please.
That's what I feel like sometimes that makes horror really good too, if you can kind of relate to it and it really does take on like a personal aspect or anything. It makes it just a little bit more terrifying, and that's kind of how I felt about like a lot of sci-fi movies lately, you know. It's not really like science fiction anymore, you know. So
Yeah.
I know I'm writing a science nonfiction horror story here that's going to be coming out shortly here, but yeah, very good. Oh, Yanni, what was your number 3?
Well, I had to include it somewhere on my list, and it couldn't go at 1 and 2. But since I'm a big fan of the franchise, 28 years later, it had to come on the list somewhere. So, and it was, it was a really good movie. But 2 and 1 were just. I was in a chat with another friend of mine that was doing her horror podcast at the end of last year, and we all just came to that agreement that just 2 and 1 on my list just were so far and away so much better than everything else. I mean, it just didn't seem kind of fair. So,
yeah,
very good. Molly, what was your number 3?
Well, I feel like an asshole too because I'm losing a lot of street cred here because my last 2 choices, 4 and 3, you guys are picking such beautiful, deep movies.
I picked
number 3 for me was
The Death of Snow White, so no.
Well,
Trash
that's
Panda.
true. That's
Trash
true.
Panda.
That's true. My number 3 was Hard Eyes. And I know that not a lot of people loved it, but same exact thing as Clown in a Cornfield. It was just a fun and holiday themed slasher, which I'm a sucker for those. I really like Valentine's Day as a horror holiday. I mean, obviously My Bloody Valentine's one of my all-time favorite movies ever made. So when I heard we were getting a new and somewhat original Valentine's Day horror movie, I couldn't watch it fast enough. And the ending is a little, it kind of falls apart at the end for me a bit, but everything that happens, for fuck's sake, there's a scene where a character is startled and hurls a dildo at someone in fear. It's fun, like it's just a fun time. So yeah, I really liked Hard Eyes, and I feel like it came and then everybody just sort of forgot about it, which really kind of bummed me out. I just don't hear people talk about it anymore. So yeah, that's my number 3, Hard Eyes.
There's another one that's on my 2026 wish list. More dildo related deaths in horror movies.
We haven't had a good one in quite a while. It doesn't seem like.
I don't know. I love my deep movies, and I know we're going to get into it, with 2 and 1, I'm sure. But for me, I also I feel like, especially in the realm of horror films, and I would say even most especially in the realm of slasher films of late, we've forgotten how to just have a good time. It's like we have to go that extra mile to make it a little darker and a little more grim and a little more bleak. And I love bleak horror, but in my slasher subgenre, I prefer to just have stupid fun. And I felt like both Clown in a Cornfield and Hard Eyes deliver in that vein. So yeah.
Thanksgiving.
You really kind of need a bit of a balance there. There's room for both, and you don't have to be like all in one or all in.
Yeah, and I have not seen Thanksgiving yet, and I'm so bummed about that because it's been the last time we did this live stream. I was supposed to watch Thanksgiving. It was sitting right by our bedroom door, and I still have not watched it. And I'm so sad because I really want to see it.
It's not. I don't think it's going to change your life, but I mean, I think you'll enjoy it. And I haven't seen Hard Eyes or Clown in the Cornfield, so I can't speak truly to it. But just based off your description of it, I think you'll like Thanksgiving in that it doesn't take itself seriously. It's a throwback to those '90s and '80s slashers where it was pretty straightforwardly just fun, and and it's having a good time. But yeah, those feel. I think they would kind of fall in order with the others that he's been on your list for sure. So.
Yeah. I promise the next two are deeper than that. I really loved my stupid fun movie.
I love it. You have to mix those up.
Yeah.
You always have to mix those up anyway. So, but my number 3 is movie we briefly just talked about, and that would be Sinners from this year. It's actually the first horror movie I watched of the year, way back in June or whenever it came out.
Yeah.
Not a perfect movie in that I thought it was a little bit long, and there was
that's also my number 2.
There was a subplot that never came back around. It involved, for those who've seen it, involved this group of Native Americans who are also vampire hunters, and they visit. They're tracking down these vampires, then they disappear, and we never see them again. And I'm like,
that is so true.
They needed to bring them back at the end at some point. I was expecting, but other than that, I mean, it's very well acted. Like I said, it's probably, they could have probably trimmed about 10 or 15 minutes off somewhere in the beginning. But once you get into the nightclub and they've got all their guests and customers over there and got the band playing, that's when it starts revving up. And, Michael B. Jordan does great playing basically 2 different roles. I don't know the actor's name who plays like the main vampire or whatever, but he's really good in it.
Jack O'Connell.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know why I can't remember a simple Irish name like Jack O'Connell. Probably because it's too common. That's
also in the Bone Temple. Also in the Bone Temple.
I hear that. I think I heard that.
Yeah. Hell of a warrior for him.
And the ending was really good, especially the shootout scene as he's blowing away these KKK members and all that was awesome to see. So, yeah, a really good movie. It's not my number 1, but I know it is for a lot of people, and I wish it the best of luck. I know we just had that long conversation earlier, and we'll leave it there. But, if it wins, great. Good for those that worked on the film, and good for them. So that was my number 3, Sinners.
It's a great
Kyle,
choice. It's on my list too.
Okay. So,
right. Mine too.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I figured that was the one that everybody was going to pick.
Same here. I legitimately thought that was I was going to be the only one that had it at number 2. I'm like,
nope, I have it at number 2 as well. Yeah.
I have it at number 2.
Speaking of number 2s, go around circle. I'll start with you first, Kyle. What was your number 2? It was
28 days or 28 days. Shit, 28 years later. Yes, 28 years later. Yeah.
Man, I need to see this movie.
I guess I'm gonna have to. I need to go back and watch 28 Days Later too first.
Yes,
I would love to do an entire marathon of all 3 movies. 28 days, 28 weeks, 28 years. Yeah.
Well, I mean, 28 Days Later, a zombie virus, zombie fast running zombie classic, right? Post 9/11. One of the best films of the aughts, or one of the best, at least horror films of the aughts, right? I would put it, if we had to rank a top 10, which would be a fun episode as well, doing decades like that. But, and then 28, is it 28 weeks later?
Yeah.
28,
Weeks and then years, yeah.
Okay, so it's been years since I've seen that one. That one was a lot of fun. It's more of a one-time watch, excuse me. Not as good as any of these, although it was still, I think it doesn't get quite the credit it deserves. But this one, I was pretty blown away by it. I loved the this community in this island who's had, like, somebody spoke to this earlier, that's basically fenced off like a typical zombie situation. But of course, somebody's forced to go out, and have to survive among it. I love the Jack O'Connell, the whole weird thing with that hits at the end. I love that, and it makes even more sense now going into the boneyard. them playing more into actually fleshing out what that situation was. But I love that kind of batshit weird ending of these like almost Clockwork Orange like droogs in tracksuits and things like that. That I just thought was super cool. Ray Fiennes is an absolute king in it. He's just awesome. And I haven't seen Boneyard yet, so I'm hoping to see that tomorrow, along with Send Help, but or here hopefully in the next couple days. But Ray Fiennes was just excellent. He's kind of become the heart of the series. It feels like not knowing anything about the Boneyard, but yeah, it just very well acted. It just had a lot of strange flourishes. That's just my kind of thing that I love, and it was very to watch 28 days later and then watch and then make your way to 28 years later, just very different movies, right? Very different movies directed by the same guy. So yeah, I didn't go into it with any specific expectations, which was usually good for me when I do that. And I loved it. So, absolutely loved it.
Okay. So getting a lot of love for 28 years later. So I guess this is when I'm at the break down and take a look.
Same. Yep. I'm going to just have to give it a watch.
There's some creepy ass zombies in it too, man. There's some nasty.
I hear there's some very deformed, huge, deformed looking peckers in this movie too.
Yeah, you're gonna get some zombie. You're gonna get some zombie junk. Just out there, the size of a baby.
Sorry, y'all. I've seen Ray Fiennes' penis already. So the pinnacle of my life has already happened.
Or Rare Exports. It reminded me of Rare Exports, where you see all the stand-up penis.
Oh yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of stand-up penis. The funny thing is, right? I don't know why. I guess I'm going to derail this time. I ended up going to the theater and watching Red Dragon with the woman I was dating at the time, and that scene comes up where he's just naked and chasing somebody, and all I got from my girlfriend at the time was, "It's his dick! It's his dick! It's his dick!" I'm like, calm down.
God, I hope she didn't have a reaction like that to you. God.
Maybe you do get a reaction. I don't know.
That was 20 years ago, so maybe she did, and I was just drunk. But I mean, I've never
I don't recall seeing it. Well, anyhow, I was just thinking. Now you mentioned Red Dragon. That's a conversation to have in the future. Red Dragon
Manhunter's
versus
still
Manhunter, but
Manhunter all day long.
Manhunter. I don't even think that was a contest, personally. No. I love it. No, I like Red Dragon, but
like if you could take Ralph Fiennes and put him in Manhunter as Francis Dollarhide, that might be where
I love
because Tom Noonan is 100 times more evil than Ray Fiennes.
And I hate to say it, I like Brian Cox better as Hannibal Lecter.
No, me too. I agree.
There's another canceled opinion.
We're both going to get crucified by everyone by saying that. But yes, I will die on that cross with you. You'll be on one side, I'll be on the other, and the good thief and bad thief, and Jesus will be like, "You two both fucked up."
We'll sing "Always Look on the Bright Side of Life" while hanging.
Yeah, like Life of Brian.
Yeah.
I always thought it was cool how all these different interpretations of Hannibal Lecter, Brian Cox, what Anthony Hopkins, and then what Mads Mikkelsen with the show, how different those their portrayals are, right? Like Brian Cox and Anthony Hopkins are very different. One is very just straightforwardly serious and still scary. And then you have Hopkins, who's definitely hamming it up quite a bit more, which is a lot of fun. And then you have, Mads Mikkelsen, who, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, who puts his own spin on that. Mm-hmm. And anytime I'm watching any of them, they're my favorite Lecter when I'm watching it, right? And then when I come back from it, if you're like, who's better out of those? I'm like, they're all just so different, and they bring something really cool in their own specific way that. It's hard to choose.
In a way, it's like trying to pick your favorite James Bond actor almost.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
day you might. I mean, most people will say Connery, but a lot of people like Pierce Brosnan. A lot of people like Daniel Craig. A lot of people go back.
I'm a
like
Roger Moore guy.
Moore, so
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my
Yeah,
dad,
I'm a
man.
Roger Moore girl as well. Yeah.
okay. Well, since I know that the next three of you, I'll pick for number 2, Sinners. Sammy, start off. Your thoughts on Sinners?
Oh man, I get to go off first. Yeah, this was a fantastic vampire flick. I love the aspect of music that was really heavy in it, and how like spiritual like music can be and stuff too. Like I love that whole aspect of it, and how they did like the collage of going through like the years of vampires kind of being around kind of
Art.
into the future too and stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. And Michael B. Jordan doing the two different roles, that was fucking great. Like I think he did a fantastic job with both of those. And then being from Buffalo, the one girl being Josh Allen from the Bills, like girlfriend, everybody from this area really wanted to see the movie mainly for like her and stuff, and I feel like locally like in Buffalo and stuff it was like a huge talk, people wanting to see this
Oh,
movie
that's
just
awesome.
because of her being in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
See, I did not know that. Are you talking about the girl that she was like? I think I know which girl you're talking about. So that's the one that's Josh Allen's girlfriend then.
Yeah.
Okay, I knew she was an actress. I didn't know what she was in. So, and for those who
Not
aren't
that I know
football fans,
anything about football. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not a
See,
football
I'm
fan,
so
but
sorry.
just
I
being in this
didn't.
area, everybody.
Okay, so we're talking about football.
yeah, Josh
Okay,
Allen.
I
not
didn't
me,
even know who
Josh.
that was. I'm sorry.
All right, he is the
I don't know anything
quarterback
about
for
No,
both.
football.
I wouldn't have either.
Just to give
Okay.
you, Josh Allen's the quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, and his girlfriend was in the movie Sinners. So,
Is it Haley Atwell or
Gotcha.
no?
Thank you. Okay, cool. Yeah, did
Yeah,
not.
it's Haley.
Dates Josh.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
there we go. Okay, Yanni, your thoughts on Sinners?
I just thought, I mean, it honestly, not even horror. To be honest with you, it was one of the best movies I've watched all year long.
Mhm.
Period. And I think it's going to be a crime when Michael B. Jordan doesn't get Best Actor this year, because I honestly think he deserves it.
Hmm.
I'm just going to say it right now. I
Yeah.
think he deserves it, and again, it's going to be a crime because horror never gets the respect it deserves. So, I mean,
Well,
Yeah.
Wasn't it a last minute decision too? I heard it was like a last minute decision of him playing both those roles because the other guy like fell through or something.
yes,
Mhm.
I think that's what I heard too.
Yeah.
All right, and Molly, your thoughts on Sinners? What were your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, same as everybody has said. And going back to what Sammy said in particular, the use of music and that scene, I wrote about this on Substack, so I apologize if any of you have seen that and I'm repeating myself, but honestly, if the only thing I had seen was that jukebox, the juke joint dance sequence,
Mm-hmm.
I would have put it on the list, because that was just one of the most beautiful things I've seen in a film in a very, very long time. It was so moving. And I mean, I was in tears just because of how moving it was. And, again, I know we talked about how, and I maintain I don't give a fuck about the Academy Awards, but I do think that in addition to Michael B. Jordan, I really think that the production designers deserve a lot of
100%.
of props. Sure. It's just such a beautifully choreographed film, and I also really loved. I feel horrible because I can't remember her name, but his wife. She's sort of like a priestess. She's got the kind of mojo going. I absolutely loved her as well. I thought her performance was spectacular. I just thought everybody did such a great job. It blew me away. I was speechless when the movie was over, and that is very difficult to achieve. So, yeah, I loved it. It was wonderful.
Well, with it being a period piece, and that's why I like period piece so much, it's set designing is so important when doing that. And yeah, they did get spot on. So yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful. Anyone else have anything to add about Sinners?
I will here in just a second when you get when just for the ranking order. So when it comes to me,
Okay. Well, while you do that, I will go to my number two, which Sinners was number three. Number two was another movie mentioned earlier, and that's Weapons. I thought with Weapons that was a movie I didn't have high expectations. I thought, okay, it'll probably be I figured it'd be your typical gloomy doomy movie with something really poetic to say at the end. And maybe there is something there. Instead, what I got, the movie I found was structured almost like a Quentin Tarantino movie. If you think about how we're having all these different from different characters' perspectives. So we're seeing this character's story, this character's story, this character's story. We see this event that happens at the beginning, which is all these kids disappear, and then we're seeing everything from each of these characters' perspective. And we mentioned Amy Madigan being in this. We also Josh Brolin's in this. He's kind of the lead, and he does a fantastic job. I wish I could remember the actress's name who was also in it. She plays the teacher where all these kids disappear. Then it's got like the dark humor of a Coen's brother movie, kind of in a lot of ways. And then it still has those horror elements to it. And I gotta say, I've seen a lot of people on YouTube absolutely hate the ending, and people who hate the ending must be the most humorless bastards ever, because I was laughing my ass off the last 10 minutes of that
ending
movie.
was great.
Because this witch was such a wicked bitch, seriously, and it comes back to bite her in the ass when these kids are chasing her through people's houses, busting through windows, and I don't want to give it away for those who haven't seen it, but they just annihilate her at the end. But there is some good gruesome, even before with who's the actor's name? Benedict Wong. Who some people would know from the Doctor Strange movies. He has a very gruesome death scene, and it was one of those movies. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. It was better, and it just missed the number one spot. And really, these top three movies are all 9 out of 10s. It was really kind of tough trying to figure out which one was going to be my number one, and you're going to find out and I guarantee you my number one film will not be any other's number one. So,
Julia Garner, by the way, is the actress you're thinking.
Oh, okay, yes, she was really good in that as well. So I'm glad I think there could have been like a couple people that we really didn't need to see their backstory about, like the homeless guy and the cop. I don't think we really needed to see them as much as we did, but the other ones, the way they were doing it was done really well. So I highly recommend Sinners. So that was my number two, and now we're going to go to everyone's number one. So Kyle, what was your number one horror film of the year?
Sinners. So
there we go.
That was my number one.
Perfect.
And to your point, most of these run pretty close, but I watched Sinners 2 or 3 months after it came out. I didn't watch it right away. And I've spoke to this in the past, but like I ebb and flow with being down on current cinema. And we talked about earlier, like retreating to the past and just kind of really wanted to focus on previous decades. Whether it's comfort films that I've seen one or many times that I love, or just so many that I still haven't seen, that I'm trying to capture. So, but this is one that, man, maybe since The Substance, and somebody brought this up, like not just as like the best horror film, but for me, this is one of three of the best one of the three best just films, period, in the year for me for 2025. And so, I just when I completed it, I was just like, this is the best thing I've seen for a minute. I was pretty rapturous about it, and it was like, this has got me excited about current cinema again. Just and again, not to repeat so many things that you all covered already that pretty much are what I think as well. But I'll just say, the fact that there is an Sinners, which I think deserves the Academy Award nominations, unlike Frankenstein, hot take. I don't think that should be.
Really?
And I like Frankenstein, but I find it annoying that there's there's just a couple other horror films that I'm like, I think Weapons would qualify so much better than that. But anyway, the fact that you have this like pretty large budgeted like nationally or internationally distributed horror film like that was super successful across the board, commercially and critically, and it was very much of it was based off the director's love for From Dusk Till Dawn, is just awesome. Like, who ever thought, right? And it's that DNA is in there completely, and that was a huge influence for Ryan Coogler, which is just awesome. And so that alone is so cool, right? And then to speak to like Sam and Molly and everybody mentioned like the musical aspect, which I love blues music. So just to have that as like, music is a spiritual force over time, right? It as far as flowing through all these eras of African American music and its impact, but then also the Irish Celtic folk music as well that also plays into that I love. And I love, and that the scene that you all already discussed. I won't go into that any further as far as like the blending of all the different type of genre from blues and hip hop and jazz and all these things. But since you all touched base on that, I also want to point out the Rocky Road to Dublin musical scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like I went back and rewatched both those scenes, but I still listen to the Rocky Road. Like I love that. That song's great anyway, and then that cover of it is fantastic. But I love the shot of, Jack O'Donnell is, in my opinion, one of the best vampire villains to come out in a long time. Like I thought that character was pretty excellent, and they didn't overplay him too much, which I liked. He was also could be sympathetic in a way too, even though he was also pretty dastardly. But that whole scene where he sings that song and everyone is singing along with him, and it's kind of this hive mind of music. I watched it like 3 or 4 times. Like right there that same night, I went back and rewatched. Literally, I stopped the movie and rewound it back and rewatched it again. I just loved both those scenes so much. And if I was going to nitpick, there are a few things, minor flaws that I could point out that I'm not gonna mess with. But length probably being one of those for the most part. But it's also, it's not easy for a film to blend a lot of different genres within one movie in a couple 2.5 hours, right? So it's a horror film primarily, but it's also a musical. It's also an action film. It's a period piece drama. It's a crime film. There's so many. This movie could have been something else, right? And been successful. It could have been a full-on action movie. It could have been a full-on horror, whatever. But it could have been. I could have come into that movie without vampires, and it just be like I could have watched the crime version of this, where the gangsters from Chicago come and they have to fight them off. Right? There's not a vampire in the movie. That would have probably been a pretty excellent film within itself, right? And that movie's so great with all this stuff in it. They didn't even need the Native American vampire killers to even come back. And I was the same way. I was expecting them to show up at the end or whatever.
Right.
But the fact that they don't, I'm okay with it, because like just this little snippet of that world where those guys pop up for just a minute, it's like that gets my head spinning into the ambiguity of that, of like I'm thinking about this whole backstory myself, and we're writers, so like we think about like, oh man, how that could just spin off in my head. And the fact that I don't know what happened to these guys, I kind of love it, because the movie's still successful without it, and there probably will never be a sequel to it, but I could totally have a movie just with those vampires.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So the fact that the film works completely, even if they didn't circle back to that, and to me, it felt like that maybe there was like on an edit or rewrite that they just, maybe they removed it or whatever. But yeah, it works without that. And just man, my favorite horror film of the year, and then also probably top 2 or 3 just favorite films of 2025 altogether. Just if it's not a masterpiece, it's pretty damn good. It's pretty damn perfect in a lot of ways, and one of the best vampire films that I've seen in quite a while. I would put it. I mean, if we ever have an episode where we're compiling our favorite vampire film list or whatever, it could be in the top 10.
I'm planning in May to do that. So,
oh, wow, okay. I mean, I don't know if it'd make a top 10 or not, but man, it would be in a top 12, 13 probably. I mean, I just really thought it was great. So anyway, that's it, man. It was fantastic. So
Speaking of vampire movies. Sorry.
Okay.
Speaking of vampire movies, I think it had a lot of near dark qualities. Like
Yeah.
not only did it have Dusk Till
Absolutely.
Dawn, but it was also near dark.
I'm glad you
Absolutely.
mentioned that because that character that Jack O'Connell played does in his, I guess, personality or perhaps his on-screen, whatever you want to call charisma, reminds me a lot of Lance Henriksen in Near Dark. And I didn't really think about it till you just mentioned Near Dark, like, and just popped in my head. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
But also a little bit of Bill Pullman, Bill Paxton too, and then he's a little bit of a wild card.
Yeah.
It's like a blending of those two characters in
Right.
a way. But definitely that kind of neo-Western feel or whatever, like out on the plains and stuff like that. Very much, yeah. I didn't think about that, but it does have like there's definitely that near dark DNA in there as well. So especially like it's like it has these story beats, the plot beats, that's influenced by From Dusk Till Dawn, but the vibe and the style is very near dark. That's an awesome point.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Okay, well, Sammy, I'm curious to hear your number one of the year.
All right, so before I say it, I'd like to start with saying that some of the deaths in this movie were top notch. Like these killings were just done fantastically. And the movie is The Monkey. So for anyone else that has seen
I
that,
forgot about that movie.
oh, so good. So I went in not really expecting. I wasn't sure if it was going to be similar to, the old school Monkey, or if it was going to have like a different take or whatever. And man, I was definitely way impressed by the time this movie ended. And with those kills, I was just laughing my ass off with some of them. They had that very like kind of like Final Destination feel to them. So like I really liked like that setup too for a lot of them.
Man, I need to see it. It's been on my watch list for a really, really long time, and I definitely need to watch it.
I haven't seen it either, but it's good. I was wondering what your number one, like, oh boy, is it going to be Frankenstein? Is anyone going to have Frankenstein?
When you led with the kills being brutal, I thought I knew what you were going to pick, and I thought it was going to be the same one as me, but it wasn't, and that was tricky. And now I really need to see The Monkey.
Part of the reason I haven't seen it is because Oz Perkins burnt me so bad on Long Legs. Like, I was not a fan of Long Legs.
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
I didn't see it either.
As much as I love King, I love that story, I haven't been excited to see it because I am just not an Oz Perkins fan. So that's why I haven't seen his most recent one yet. But I need to check it out because you're not the only person that's bragged on that film. So,
hey, look, once a long time ago, Scott Derrickson made Hellraiser Inferno. And as a Hellraiser fan, I despise that movie. But you know what? Scott Derrickson went on to do some really good films. So,
it's like Mike Flanagan. Mike Flanagan, I'm sorry, and I apologize to anybody in the room that loves it. I hate Oculus with a fiery passion.
Dr. Sleep. I was like, no, because I love.
I do. I'm sorry, but I think he's one of the best. I think he's one of the better horror directors of the last, like 10, 15 years. So, like, I forgave him for Oculus. We can forgive Oz Perkins for Long Legs.
I haven't seen it yet. So.
I'll try. I think too, like Mike Flanagan seems to genuinely love the drama, but I've seen some interviews with Oz Perkins where he was a little like he was off-putting to me in that like he seemed to belittle just the horror genre in a way as a director based off just some comments he made. So like it's a little personal with him too. I just don't like him as a guy, as just a
That's
dude.
unfortunate.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure he's fine. Like if I met him, he's probably a really nice guy. But like I
Yeah.
just was like I didn't love his first films. They were fine. And then I was so pumped for Long Legs, and then I watched it and I was like, half of this movie's great.
Yeah.
And then it just evolved into, that's a whole nother pot or another.
It's like he quit in the middle of the movie and a whole other movie was written.
Yeah, well, it's like
Long
he just
Legs, I was able to predict the ending after the first 15 minutes. Oh, I see exactly what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
Because they kind of set it up. They were trying to be clever, but I've watched enough horror over the last 40 some odd years that I'm like, oh, I see what you're doing here. I see exactly what's going to happen. So it's like,
Well, he made the first half was this like atmospheric David Fincher-esque, Jonathan Demme Silence of the Lambs-esque, like well shot, well made, well acted film with this really weird, cool villain. And then it's like halfway through, it's like he didn't know what to do, so he just like did this exposition dump and took this left turn that like could have been cool if it was handled differently, I guess. But like the whole scene where like the mom like just sits and explains the whole story to us like we're children, I was like, man, this is just rough. So ever since I'm like, fool me once, Oz Perkins, shame on you, but man, fool me twice. So I don't know. So yeah, but I need to see the monkey.
Okay. All right. Yanni, what was your number one?
What can't be said about weapons? That's already been said. I mean, to me, that is my favorite movie of the year. Period.
Oh wow, nice.
Is Weapons.
Very
just
cool.
edged out Sinners.
So
I just enjoyed it. I just thought it was kind of a little refreshing in a way too.
Can I ask you a question? Since that's your favorite, how do you interpret the gun above when because they don't ever address this after the fact, but when Josh Brolin sees like the gun in the sky above the house, and that never goes anywhere really that I can remember. Do you have any kind of interpretation?
I always thought that was a message of our gun culture in the U.S.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, what happens right after a school shooting on social media? Shall not be infringed. It's like a high five now. I've learned, especially after Alex Purdy, I've learned that shall not be infringed is basically 2A guys going, another school shooting, yeah. I mean, but I really do feel like that's how I interpreted the gun was our insane gun culture in this country.
Right.
And you're talking to somebody who, very pro 2A, but that's just how I kind of felt it. That was just kind of the shot.
Probably a subtle one there. And I had forgotten about that scene, so I'm glad you brought it up there. So it's like, I remember thinking about that too. Oh, I think I now get, it's like in the middle of the movie, I'm starting to get what their point they're making to with these kids all disappearing. When I saw that, like, oh, I see what they're doing here. So yeah, I didn't mention that earlier, but that was another clever little thing that was done in a way that wasn't pretentious or in your face. It just kind of like put that in there.
Putting politics, like you said, it's putting politics into the movie without, being overtly obvious with it, where, you'll have half of the crowd and the same 5 people on freaking YouTube all the time rolling their eyes going, oh, woke, oh!
I think I know the 5 people you're talking about too.
Yeah.
But okay, Molly, what was your number one? I guess it's one that's got some really gnarly deaths in it, so I'm curious to hear
it does. again, I just feel so like, but it's okay. It's for very personal reasons, but it was no contest for me. 100% my favorite horror movie of the year was Final Destination Bloodlines.
I was wondering if that movie was going
Absolutely.
to come up. So
Well, and here's the thing, because there are two very specific reasons. The first reason is everything that they gave us, and that Tony Todd gave us through that movie. That was our farewell to Tony Todd. They allowed him to just speak to us. I think that's fucking beautiful.
That's going to go on the top. I think that's now like my number one best ad-libbed moment in
Absolutely.
movies is Tony Todd's goodbye to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so true, and it leads into my second reason that I love the movie so much. Because I'm 42. I was a teenager. You know, I was in my like mid to late teens when the first Final Destination came out. It meant a lot to me, you know, like it does to a lot of people of my generation. And I remember how exciting it was sitting in the theater, watching it for the first time, having no idea what was happening to Alex in the beginning. It felt so epic at the time. And I'm not a fan, as a rule, usually, of drawing franchises out to fucking death. I'm not usually a fan of sequels in general. You know, there are exceptions to that, but I'm not usually. So I kept going back to Final Destination. I saw them trying over and over again to outdo it. Every Final Destination film tried to one up the previous one. And I'm not saying that they didn't make good efforts, because they did, but they never succeeded, in my opinion, because you can't recapture that magic. Final Destination Bloodlines recaptured that magic for me. The opening scene in particular, and that moment when they zoom out, when we get that zoom out from the premonition and realize it's actually a completely different person remembering an event that they weren't even alive for. The grin on my face hurt. I was just so impressed and excited. And it's like what Kyle said about Sinners. It made me excited about movies today again. It restored my faith in our ability to continue stories that are 20, 30 years old, that there are people out there that actually do get it and understand what makes it special. And that leads back to the Tony Todd thing, that they didn't have to give him the floor. They chose to give him the floor because they understand what he means to so many people. And I respect that. So, yeah. Like I said, I know that in compared to some of the other films that you guys have chosen in particular for your top like 1 and 2, it's not as deep, but it's very deep for me. The Bloodlines, my love for that movie is just so strong, and loved it. It blew me away. Very brutal kills, very fun, very funny, but also just an excellent tribute to the first film. And I wasn't expecting that. I just watched it to see Tony Todd's last film. That's the only reason I watched it.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
I really am glad you said that, because you're right. It's like somebody pulled the director aside and said, just stop trying.
Yeah, stop trying. Yeah.
And he listened.
Mm-hmm. And that doesn't happen very often these days, you know? Like, we've seen so many beloved IPs just driven into the ground. They just sucked dry of everything that, you know, made it special. And that's what I loved about Bloodlines, is that, and it's funny because one of the co-writers of Bloodlines fucking wrote one of the more recent Scream films that I couldn't stand. And everyone was like, oh, it's like a love letter to the first Scream. And I watched it and I'm like, I felt like that was a hate letter to the first Scream. And so watching Bloodlines, it really kind of restored my faith in him as a writer. I can't remember his name right now, but it just made me think, that not all hope is lost if we're going to keep recycling these IPs, which I really wish we would just stop doing. But if we're going to keep recycling them, I want it to be in the hands of people like whoever handled Bloodlines, because they did a very, very good job.
I had seen the movie too. It didn't make my top 5. Probably didn't even quite make my top 10, which doesn't mean I didn't like it, but I'm not as connected to that franchise as other people are, though I did like the first 2, I would say, or at least the first one anyway. But yeah, I did watch it just mainly because of Tony Todd. And I watched that, I'm like, God, I wish that guy was my grandfather or something like that. I mean, seriously.
He was He was so
what it
awesome
felt
with
like,
social
though.
media too.
Yeah, but that's what Tony Todd always was. You know,
Mhm.
he was like a surrogate father, whereas he aged almost like a surrogate grandfather or uncle. You know, he meant so much to so many people. And I'm sorry because I'm getting emotional. It's
Yeah.
just like
No, that's okay.
No,
I
I'm
put
with
off
you.
watching the movie. I put off watching it
Me
for a
too.
long time because I wasn't ready to say goodbye to him. And I just went into it thinking, okay, another Final Destination movie. Okay, I'm just here for Todd. I'm just here for Todd. And so I think that also may have been why the movie really struck a chord with me because I wasn't expecting everything else. I really just thought that I was going to be rolling my eyes until Tony Todd showed up and then crying and then going back to rolling my eyes again. But that just wasn't what happened. So, you
Yeah.
know, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I was the same way. I put off watching that movie as long as I could because it's like if I watch it, then I know it's real.
Then
I
it's
know
real.
he's not
He's
coming
really
back.
gone. Yeah.
And I'm like, I cannot emotionally handle this right now.
Yep.
Because
Uh-huh.
I had some I remember I had some great interactions with him on Twitter.
No.
And it was the only reason why I missed being on Twitter was actually that's the one thing that I think really endeared me to him is how accessible he is to fans and how awesome he treated
Oh
his
yeah,
fans.
he's like Jeffrey Combs in that way. I've
Mhm.
never heard a bad story about him. I've never heard a single person say a bad word about meeting Tony Todd. He just seemed so
Right.
genuine and yeah. I wish we had gotten. This is a little tangential. I'm sorry. I swear I'm gonna shut up. But I wish we had gotten the Candyman 4. Did any of you guys? Any of you guys read Phantom Limbs on Bloody Disgusting? That editorial series
No.
where they talked about Candyman 4 and how he had conceived of the film, and he had this like whole idea about Candyman like isolating himself in the Arctic and like chopping off his hand to keep himself from killing people, and it was that whole thing was
Oh,
was
wow.
dreamed up by Todd. And
Huh.
it broke. That was the hardest Phantom Limbs to read ever because I've never wanted something to be a reality so badly. And now, of course, we will never get it, and I'm just very sad about that. But yeah, I wish we got the Candyman, the fourth that fourth Candyman that he wanted to do. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been
Yeah.
something too. All right, well, good. I'm glad you brought that movie in there. I was wondering what your number one was going to be, and my
I
number
love that
one.
we all have different number ones.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we
Yeah.
are, and mine's going to
Yeah.
be no different. Mine was definitely surprised the hell out of me because I figured it's going to be. It's a fairly new movie. Came out, I think, from Shudder right around the Halloween time, and this movie is going to automatically now will be in my Halloween season rotation, and that is a movie called Night of the Reaper. That one there, I figured sitting down, okay, this is just going to be a fun slasher where we're going to have a high body count and all that. And if that had been the case, I would have probably enjoyed it. But then I was like worried going in, oh boy, I bet it's going to be a bunch of teenage characters that I'm going to find annoying and I'm going to hate. But that's not what this was. It is a slasher in its tone for the most part, but there's really very few kills. There aren't that many kills. I guess it's kind of like the original Halloween. Not to say it's as good as the Halloween, but it does focus a little bit more on build up and tension. It's very modern looking, so it does feel like a today movie, but the characters are well done. They're not annoying. And what's brilliant about this film, and I said there aren't that many kills, but there is one really gruesome death that will come out of nowhere and make you go, oh, what the fuck? If you like head explosion scenes, this one has it. But what's brilliant about this movie,
Sold.
Yes.
sold.
Yeah.
But what's brilliant is it subverts expectations. And I really don't want to give away what we find out about this movie. It is like kind of like a traditional babysitter movie where someone stalks and the babysitter has to protect the child and as well as herself. But then the script changes. And we find out that the hunter becomes the hunted, so to speak. And that's what I'll say about it. I remember after that movie hit its end credits, my jaw about dropping the floor. I'm like, wow, that is one of the smartest slasher films I've seen in a long time. And once again, it was like a 9. It, like I said, basically tied with Sinners and Weapons. And all three of those are very different movies, so it's hard to really say which one's better. But I'm just going to go ahead and go with Night of the Reaper, just because probably no one else is going to pick it anyway. So I'll pick that number one, and that'll be my number one. So I don't know if anyone here has seen it yet, but
You said it's on Shudder?
Adding it to my watch list.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was on Shudder. I was like looking at some of my notes a little bit on that, and I can't remember if I mentioned if it was on Shudder or not, but it's on Shudder, or if you have AMC Plus, which is kind of the same thing, because if you have AMC Plus, you automatically have Shudder. So that's one I would definitely check out. I hope, it's hard to say if people are going to like movies as much as I like them, because I realize I sometimes watch like movies that people are like, yeah, it was okay, Josh, but it wasn't that good. And of course, vice versa. I'm like, hey, how'd you like that movie? Well, it was okay. Like Frankenstein, I like Frankenstein. And I know in our last episode, me and Carrie, who was on, we're both talking about our critiques of the film, and I'm like, I don't. It's a movie I should have loved, but, and I give Guillermo del Toro this much: he's a guy who puts a lot of passion into his movies. He doesn't half-ass any of his movies. Doesn't take a movie that he doesn't want to do, and I give him credit for that. But like I said, I just had problems with The Monster, both the design and the performance, and everyone saying that Jacob Elrod, or whatever his name is, or Elroy or whatever, is just the superb performance. I'm like, trust me, Boris Karloff is resting in peace. He's still the best Frankenstein monster.
He was one of the few. I mean, and again, I overall enjoyed it, but he's one of the things that I like the most about it.
Oh, okay.
Oscar Isaac's the one that I did not care for as Frankenstein, that I felt was miscast for multiple reasons.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I like that actor. I like him, but I think the two biggest problems, other than some casting, some miscasts, is one, it was a Netflix film, which always has that Netflix suck to it that I can never fully. It feels like a real movie to me. It feels like I'm watching a straight to. It doesn't feel theatrical in some ways or whatever.
Oh,
it's
really?
missing a key ingredient, yeah. And then also too, there was a Marvel superhero, a Marvelization of it, where I mean, at the end when I made a joke about this.
I saw the joke and laughed.
Yeah. Yeah, but just the fact that he, I mean, he's the Incredible Hulk meets Thanos meets Thor, where he's just like, he might as well have just picked the ship up over his head. It's like, okay, so now Frankenstein has like just insurmountable strength. He regenerates like Wolverine. So he's Hulk, he's Wolverine. He's also like attractive as Captain America. You know what I mean? Like he's very like goth hunk. When I
kind of made him out. I kind of felt like the Vision in the Avengers movie to me.
Yeah,
I think Carrie agreed with me on that one. But
yeah, and it was an enjoyable. Like it had some cool gothic flourish that Guillermo del Toro is really good at. It had some good performances, but also too he's kind of going Peter Jackson on me, where he's like leaning way too heavy in later years and like really. I feel like pretty poorly done CGI.
Mm-hmm.
And where he used to be Lord of the Rings, he's now the Hobbit. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's very Avatar 2-esque.
Yeah, he used to use CGI to complement the tangible special effects. The same way Jackson did, where if he could go practical, he would. But especially with Frankenstein, I was just like, I mean, this is just some really, really ugly CGI in that like I was like, this is not even gonna look bad in 5 years. This is aging as I watch it. It's just not great. So again, a fun movie, but when I saw it was nominated for an Academy Award, I was like, or for Best Picture, I'm like, Best
Oh my
Picture?
God! Wait, was it?
Yeah, it's a Best Picture. F1 is.
I haven't even seen it, and that's absurd. Like that. I mean, that's absurd to me. Even though I've not even seen the movie, I can't believe that was nominated for Best Picture.
Bananas. It's nuts.
Wow.
Like it doesn't make any
That's
sense.
crazy.
Again, I'm not trying to completely shit on it in that like it's not a terrible movie or anything. And
It's
I was
just,
like, it's fine. It is capital F, lowercase ine, fine. I mean, it's what it was. It was a good fun time watch on a Sunday morning or whatever. Like, but the
Yeah.
fact that it's like, nominated along with Sinners and one battle after another and some of these others, I'm like, give me a break. I do think the guy
Yeah,
that played
that's kind of so
Frankenstein did a
weird.
good job. I do think, like, I was emotionally invested with that guy to the end, and there were some cool things they did with like animals and things like that with him. But again, he's like, he's bonding with this just CGI, just like such a CGI deer. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
it's like, I don't know. It's like,
No, I really get that because that was my breaking point. And again, I'm sorry to kind of like
No,
bounce to
go
a
ahead.
different director, but I really get it because that was my breaking point with Tim Burton was
yeah,
Alice in Wonderland. When I saw how utterly terrible the CG was in that film and how much they used it and how just awful the movie looked, it didn't even feel like the same guy anymore. And that was my breaking point with him. I have not ever gone back. I've not been able to. So I get that when I haven't seen Frankenstein, so I don't know. But I've seen Del Toro's previous films and I know that he has been going in that direction. So I can definitely see kind of reaching that point of like, okay, you
I
gotta
was one of the
stop. You
few
gotta
people
pull
who
back
do
on the
like.
CG.
Yeah, Tim Burton's a really good example in that, and I don't know if it's because these guys are just getting older and it's easier. You know what I mean? They don't care as much
Yeah.
about putting in that extra work. But especially Del Toro, even more than Jackson, who just loves practical effects. It's just surprising that, again, it just felt
Yeah.
like Avengers Frankenstein.
Well, even
Yeah.
Argento went CGI in his later movies. I think I talked about my love of the movie the bad movie that we really love, the Dracula 3D that he did with the CGI giant praying mantis that he has in there. But that's just so ridiculous bad. But you're right. There, for some reason, some of these directors that are known for practical effects are, and I don't know if it's the studio telling them they have to do it that way, or what's going on there. But
I mean, you've
Yeah.
got
That's
Doctor
interesting. Especially,
Strange. Oh, sorry.
oh, sorry.
No,
Oh
go
no,
ahead,
I
Mom.
was just going to say that you make a really good point about Del Toro, especially, because I mean, my main frame of reference is Pan's Labyrinth, but I mean that was a triumph of practical makeup and effects, and he was renowned for that, and so it is really strange, like, and when directors who are known for
Yeah,
their practical effects, like Burton, like Del Toro, um, like Peter Jackson. It's just really weird. I don't know why they do it either. It's strange.
it's just easier. It's probably more cost effective in ways. But even like
Probably a lot
Hellboy
more cost
2,
effective.
oh yeah, but like Hellboy 2 is so much better than Frankenstein in that just for one, there's so many practical effects. I mean, the fact that Doug Jones was not in this movie playing Frankenstein, is
Yeah.
kind of like nuts to me. Like, and I've met Doug Jones. I
Yeah.
don't know if anybody's ever met him before. He's an absolute gentleman and a scholar. Like, he's just a sweetheart of a man. He will touch your face and hug. He loves to hug and all that kind of stuff. It was kind of funny, but anyway, the fact that, like, I feel bad for him that he didn't get to be Frankenstein, right? So but or at least it was some character in the film, but
Was it
yeah,
because again I haven't seen the movie, but like was Doug Jones like deliberately passed over? Were they like specifically trying to make Frankenstein sexy and they didn't feel like Doug Jones was like conventionally sexy enough? Or like what was the deal there?
I don't know. I mean, he's also okay. So Frankenstein. Well, okay. So here's one thing that may be a problem. Like, Frankenstein's pretty buff in it. I mean, he's lean, but he's like um, what's his name? Doug Jones just doesn't. He's such a thin guy. They would have to
He's really
pad him.
lanky. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't quite. I don't think he quite meets the build for it in the way that he did with playing the different characters in Pan's Labyrinth and even like the Hellboy movies.
Mhm.
He may be just too slender to
Yeah.
do it. Um, but yeah. So, but I don't know. I mean, but it would have been cool if he had played another character, I guess. But yeah, I've been kind of hard on Del Toro the last few years. I was one of the few people that did not like Shape of Water. I did not care for that movie at
I
all.
was
And I love,
okay with it, but yeah,
man, like I love Creature from the Black Lagoon, and I was just pumped for it. And then I watched it, and I was just like, I kind of hated this movie. So, and so many people like it, and I love that they do like it, but I don't get it. I don't get that it won the Academy Award for Best Picture. I don't know. So the magical realism at the end, and I just had so many problems with it. But anyway, it's a beautiful movie, beautiful, but kind of like Frankenstein, it just kind of it wasn't a Netflix movie, so it had that going for it. But it's like, quit making these movies on Netflix, man. You know.
well, here pretty soon,
Looking
you're
at
gonna
you,
see a lot
Amazon.
more of it if they do succeed in buying Warner Brothers or whatever.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna because they're not gonna put these movies
See,
out in the theater.
I just can't even. I can't because Warner Brothers owns Dark City, and Proyas has been trying to get the Dark City TV series made now for like at least a decade. If Netflix is the one to produce the Dark City TV series, it's gonna break my heart. I just can't.
Well, I'll just say that I don't want Amazon touching it either because
Right.
I've been watching Fallout.
Oh
Just
no!
like
Don't say that. I loved the first season of Fallout. Does it really go downhill?
Unless you are like an uber duper New Vegas fanboy
I am.
or fan person, you might like this season. But I mean, it's
Okay. Yeah,
I've
because see
also-
that.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
That's always been my problem with Amazon. Is season 1 is outstanding. I mean, they do such a great job on season 1. Then about halfway through season 2, things start going downhill, and then season 3, because I remember this with Man in the High Castle.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that. You're breaking my heart, Yanni. You're breaking my heart.
Season
Man in the
3,
Castle is one of my favorite TV shows of all time.
I pray that if there's a third season of Fallout, they go to Boston, so that way it can really fall off the edge. If it's gonna fall off a cliff at the end, go to Boston. Let's just get Fallout 4 out of the way. All right, forget the Capitol Wasteland for 5 minutes. Let's go to the Commonwealth. Just to get it out of the way.
I loved the first season of Fallout. I am presently not. I canceled my Amazon, so I can't watch season 2. But my plan is to eventually watch it. That's unfortunate that it went downhill. But I disagree with you about Man in the High Castle, so maybe I'll disagree with you about Fallout. I don't know.
Maybe I just wasn't a fan of the end of it, but it was. I mean, it was so good in the first season. It's like,
yeah, but no, I don't know. I agree with Kyle though about Netflix, the Netflix movies, and
yeah.
I don't know. I would just like to see an independent studio, kind of rise up and take ownership of some of these properties. And
I think that's what's going to, I hope, happen is these bigger studios are throwing hundreds of millions of dollars in some of these movies, and they're losing money. And it doesn't seem like they're capable of making a low budget, or at least a mid-budget film that's A, very good, and B, is going to make money. It seems like A24, and to a certain degree, I suppose, Blumhouse perhaps, are able. Of course, Blumhouse is starting to throw a lot of money, more money on some of their films, like the Exorcist debacle. But
yeah, I don't know what's going on with Blumhouse. I can't figure them out anymore.
They got away from what made them good.
Yeah.
Well, and now they're getting into video games.
Are they really?
Yeah, Blumhouse is supposed to be getting into video games here.
I didn't know that. Oh.
Before I have to jump off, could I give you all a movie for 2025 that I went in with like bottom barrel expectations? I expected to hate it, and I actually liked it quite a bit, like way more than I expected, although it is extremely flawed, and there's a couple key different things that I wished had been done differently, and I think it had been so much better. But I don't think it deserves the hate.
Sure, we'll do this, and then we'll
Oh, cool. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we ran through our number ones. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, we're all done. I figure you
okay.
go ahead and mention this
Yeah.
movie, and then we'll probably sign off here because I
Oh,
think
sure.
people on YouTube are probably done watching us. But
Oh, I got you.
everyone stay on afterwards, though.
No. I'm sorry. Wolfman. I was just gonna say Wolfman, and it's for another time.
Hmm.
So, but I actually, there's some really good things about that movie. I wish it could have been better, but you know, it's one that could have, with a few tweaks, I think it could have been a contender. So for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I actually had a really quick
Right.
honorable mention, really quick, super
Sure.
quick. It's so quick that in fact you can watch it on YouTube. It's like 15 minutes long, but it was a documentary released in 2025, directed by Anna Quinlan, called "The Untold Story of the Wilhelm Scream." Highly
Okay.
recommend it.
Say what
Excellent
again?
little. Yeah, you can watch it on YouTube. It's like 15 minutes long. It's really, really good.
Holly, what's the title one
Awesome.
more time? I'm sorry. I did not catch it. What was the title?
Oh, "The Untold Story of the Wilhelm Scream."
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Sounds good. All right. Well, everyone that's been watching, I've noticed our viewers, we've had up to about 4 or 5, which is good for this channel anyway. Those of you who watch later on, put in the comment section what were some of your favorites of the year. And I was going to say my next episode is going to be a special Monday afternoon matinee episode because my two guests are going to be one from England, one from Ireland. And due to the time change, going to have it on at noon on Monday, February 9th. So that's be the next horror hangouts. And I've been doing once a week, I've been doing like just brief little horror movie gem reviews. So, but I'll keep those going. And we will certainly have a special episode, Friday the 13th episode coming up in March because we have one in February and another Friday in March as well. So, but until then, everyone, thanks. And please like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you next time.